in the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world. A group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another beautiful Thursday morning. I'm broadcasting here from the not so flat southern side of Indiana, down here in the Amish country, where we now have hardwired internet, and we are able to finally broadcast at full speed. And looking forward to it this morning. I've got my coffee in front of me, and well, now it's in front of me. Yeah.
I need to have soft-wired internet.
Soft-wired? Yeah.
That'd be probably.
Well, you know, they make pills for that.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. We have a fantastic guest with us today, guys. We've got the one and only John Celestri, a long time professional in the animation industry. And now he is working on his indie comics. And there he is. There's Pedro. Now we got Pedro in the house.
Pedro.
So now we got two animators. We got the old school animator and the new school animator. It's gonna be quite a fun conversation today, I think.
I would never miss that. How are you doing, Mr. Gillespie?
Pedro's like,
Hello,
I would never
Pedro.
miss it.
Hello.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite a good day, I think. Randy, how was your week, man?
Oh, going crazy as usual. We're remodeling the kitchen, so I've been doing a lot of painting. Found a painter, thank goodness, who's a lot more adept at it than I am. So when in doubt, get the professionals.
You know, I used to paint. I used to do work for my brother. Mm-hmm. He used to own his own contracting company, and he would hire me and my sister to go paint. I got real good at cutting in. That was my thing.
Okay.
Yep.
With any painters, I call them my cousins.
Your cousins?
Yeah, I'm Latino. We all paint.
That's right. That's right. You do. And I've heard Whiskey's been known to paint the town red a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Not like you think. It's with the blood of his enemies. But
Yeah.
anyway,
There you go.
sometimes.
It's a Conan thing.
it's
Only
a
had to
Conan
do that
thing.
once. So it's
Yeah.
messy. It's messy.
Yeah. It's a little messy, but sometimes it happens, and you just gotta go with it, folks. You just gotta deal. I just got the notice yesterday that The Fool #1 has shipped from the printer.
Already.
So we will already.
Awesome. Did
Cool.
you send
Already.
me that video? I'm sitting there just drooling over it, going, I love it. This looks great.
That's cool.
Everything lined up, the inside front cover and the first page, perfect.
Yes, great
Couldn't
job
ask
on
for
that.
better. Couldn't ask.
Yeah, that's an awesome feeling. It has only happened to me once, but it's an awesome feeling to finally get your book in your hands. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm still waiting for the RP for the trade, the new trade to come in for hybrids. It takes a little bit longer for those. I mean, it takes several weeks for a book that size. But yeah, we're I should have them Saturday or Monday,
Cool.
so they should be here.
Yeah.
And then I've got a con next weekend. I'm taking Eric Hodson's place over at a con in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, since he's going to be over in the San Diego Comic-Con.
Really?
That's next week, yeah.
Wow,
We
I
might
didn't know.
talk about that this week, or we might talk about it next week.
Guess
I think
it's
we'll
easier
save
to
all
get
of
a
our stuff
table
for
over
next
there
week.
this year than previous years.
It is, but I think he's going with the documentary, the Selling Superman.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a
Yeah,
panel over there.
absolutely cool. Good for
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So very cool for him. He's going to be able
Sounds
to
great.
get over there. Yeah. And I talked with my friend Joe Spicer the other day, and we're thinking about tag teaming a table at C2E2 this year.
Oh, really?
This next year,
Chicago, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's
Never
kind of
been.
expensive. I've never been either, but it's kind of expensive
Yeah.
over there, and we're a couple of broke blokes, so we're gonna maybe check that out.
It's at the Rosemont, if I'm not mistaken, and it ain't cheap.
No, it's not cheap. It's not cheap.
But there's a couple of hotels connected by habit trails
Yep,
there that go over the street.
yep. And then the weekend after next, Randy has a con. And
A small one over at
small-
Hartford.
Hartford City.
Hartford, Michigan. It's a library con. It's only there for like 4 hours.
Yep.
But I'll be instructing on kids how to draw cartoons. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm
nice.
really thinking about doing some county fairs, especially the ones that have like those enclosed buildings. I was just up at the Howard County 4-H fair, and I was like, dude, if I was set up in here, I'd be the only comic book, and all these kids, man, I would be freaking making a killing.
The
if I was setting
Midwest
up here.
is county
It-
fair
it-
country, I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
If you guys are interested, I didn't know this, but the Panama Comic Con is in August. And there's only like guys who talk about comics there. There's no
I'll start
comic
walking
creators.
now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It'd be
And, yeah,
Panamanium.
and there's gonna be burros, I was told. So it's gonna be fun.
Cool. Burros.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
burros.
Burrows.
It's not a fair without burros. You gotta have burros. At least down here.
Well, yeah.
Is
Up
that-
here it's chickens. Chickens
Is
and
that a
rabbits.
thing though about the fair? Because I
What?
don't think I've ever seen that before.
What? A
Yeah.
burro at a fair?
No, the comics at the fair.
Oh,
No.
No, they've never. We don't have them here. Like we didn't have them, but I was like in this building where I'm like people are set up to sell. It's like vendor booths all over, right?
As
And
the
people
old
walk that
cliche
building.
goes, as the old cliche goes, turnabout is fair play, because a lot of these comic conventions are turning into almost the equivalent of state fairs. There's people there selling window treatments and gutter systems and all sorts of weird. It's only fair that we go and appear at those places and
there's a blue ribbon for the best horse.
There we
I
are.
found this guy.
the best pie.
Right,
Ribbon
the best.
for the best
There was this guy that was selling hot sauces and seasonings,
There you go.
but the hot sauce was Dr. Ashburn.
That's
And
funny.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I don't
like the
word-
probably truth in marketing at the same
Well, I
time.
bought
Yeah.
some, and yeah.
But I don't like the word ass on my food. You know?
No, and then he had there's this seasoning. There's 3 different kinds. There's chicken shit, bullshit, good shit, and something else.
don't know,
Oh,
man.
there's a 4th kind.
Too
all
scatological
this
for my
shit,
taste.
yeah.
Yeah, and then he had a bag that he put it in and says "bag of shit,"
Cool.
and just the whole novelty of it was pretty funny, I thought. And it
He's
turns
having
out that
fun.
He's married to a lady I used to go to church with years ago.
There you go.
Yeah, but I wound up buying some hot sauce off of him. My favorite one so far is the sweet and smoky red jalapeno.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That sounds delicious.
At least that's a normal name.
just incites spice right there.
Let's bring it in
Get
here.
something with 2.5 million Scovilles. There you are.
Right, there you go. Well, I can't do all that these days, you know.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
got
need
some
to,
seeds.
I don't need to burn out the lining of my stomach
Get a few ghost peppers working.
after that
Yeah.
doc sewed me all back together. I don't want to do that.
Be hell of a colon cleanser right there.
Right, right. Whiskey,
man,
do you do conventions at all?
No, I don't. I don't do a lot of things but working.
Doesn't do anything. How about you, John? What do you do? Do you do any conventions?
Well, years ago, we were doing mystery novel, mystery conventions years
Cool.
ago. When we were
Yeah.
when we were publishing mystery novels back in the '90s.
Yeah.
You know, so we were going to various book conventions, but they were all mystery conventions. So out in the left coast convention out in Los Angeles or in Washington D.C. a BoucherCon, would travel around to various things. So it was kind of a route. We did that, but then there's a lot of energy that goes into those things, and so it came to an end when we had to stop publishing our crime fiction novels because the various it was Ingram that sort of knocked us out, saying if you're not doing 10 books a year, you're not a real publisher, and we were just doing our own stuff. So that was it for us. So we stopped. I'm going to do one. I tried to try to get into the Lexington Comic Con here, which is pretty big, but they didn't care. I tried to let them know. I mean, I let them know and whatnot that I did Boba Fett.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if you understand this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
No, they weren't interested at all in that.
Phase.
Wow.
Yeah, they did.
It's a shame.
But I did get invited. I'm going to be in it's actually about 3 weeks from now. It's August the 4th through the 6th up in Ontario. The Ontario Star Wars Alliance.
Nice.
They're a convention, and the purely Canadian, collectors. And since I was part of the Nelvana, and I did Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
I'm one of the guests,
Yeah.
along with two of the other people from Nelvana who were working there on the holiday special, and also the Kenner people, the Canadian Kenner people who developed the toys. So it's going to be it's a small convention. So that'd be the first one I've been to that actually partook in maybe 20, 30 years.
Nice.
But I don't
some
have
of the
the
people.
I don't have the energy to set up, and besides,
hear you.
as you know, I'm mature material. So therefore,
Right.
Yeah.
For some of our viewers out there that may not be familiar with you, why don't you take a moment to be just a little braggadocious and tell everyone what it is that you should be known for if they don't know you for it already.
Okay. Well, as my name tag down here on the screen says John Celestri, I'm mostly known for, in general, is the animator who first animated Boba Fett in the Star Wars Holiday Special. I've got more screen time than all of the live action, Boba Fett's of episode 5 and 6 put together. But everything that you know is from the action that we did in that holiday special. So I'm known as and I did that all myself. So in terms of the performance of Boba Fett, but I also worked on Dragon's Lair and Space Ace, He-Man and She-Ra, the early Nelvana works, the Devil and Daniel Mouse. Rock and Rule. I mean, that's pretty much the Rocky Horror Picture Show of animation.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know, you've got that. So I worked on, I developed and animated 3 of the characters, Cindy Schlepper, the gal on roller skates, Mylar, the club owner, and Quad Hole, the police chief. Also animated, as I said, on He-Man and She-Ra. Worked on the if you check up on YouTube the Batman commercials for Zellers. I animated those. There are 4 of them from the 1980s. So
Those were great, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, and that's my kind of my claim to my
You can say
I guess
fame.
my
John.
bones. I made my bones on that.
Yeah,
Yes,
John,
yes, Agent,
you
yes,
did,
Agent Zero with Don Bluth. Yes.
yeah, but John,
It's
you did
expensive.
animate that Batman commercial, that like Adam West like looking Batman. That's you, right?
It's in 1988. Those Zellers commercials. It
Mhm.
was before the live action Batman.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so we were doing more. It looked a little bit more like the Steranko Batman, and
Yeah.
also the Killing Joke had just come out, but we were already doing that.
Mm.
We were already doing those commercials when the Killing Joke came in. So it all comes in that 1988 time period.
It's a good
Yeah.
year.
And it was going from the Adam West to
Yeah, exactly.
the Tim Burton.
Yeah.
So we were
That's the thing. Like I saw those commercials in an archive. Like the things, like I live in Latin America, so I had access to true archives of those commercials. And your commercial and Richard Williams' Superman commercial made me guess, like, why don't we have this kind of shows? Because I didn't know like budgeting limits back then.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
Why the show looks like manure? And it's like, then I studied animation, like, oh, that's why. But dude, like, awesome job.
Well, yeah, thank you. The thing about it is that those Batman commercials we did them really fast. I mean, I drew them on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and
Wow.
faxed the artwork to Canada.
Oh my gosh.
Wait,
Yeah,
you
I
were working on
crosshaired,
Yeah.
and then registration crosshair for
You
time.
registered
and-
with crosshairs? You registered with crosshairs?
Yeah.
Okay, my admiration for you has just shot up like a couple stories high.
I've got a YouTube collection up there if you want to run it.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
those were pegged. Those are all pegged holes, from animation. But I cross-haired them and then scanned them in.
There you go.
Holy one-liner,
That
Batman.
quality, man.
It's not a laughing matter, Robin.
The anticipation in the dialogue, everything is just.
Drop your punchline, Joker. Listen, folks. Only at Sellers are you protected by.
The law of Toyland. Nobody beats sellers' prices on toys. Nobody.
Well said, Robin. You're protected at Sellers because the lowest price is the law.
It's just awesome. Like you see, like this is next level animation because the head movement is following the dialogue. Normally, it would be like a just like a still head and the lips flapping around.
Yeah.
This is like the essence of what animation should be, but there's no money for it.
Are you protected by.
A lot. It really, it's planning. It's
Yeah.
planning. You can do all kinds of things if you plan for it. You have easy scenes and hard scenes, and then reuse scenes.
Exactly.
And that is the thing about it is you have the money shots and you change the dialogue and the action a bit. I mean, all of those Batman close-ups had to be redone. You leveled it so that you use certain portions of it and just played around with it. And but you can see there's a lot of acting going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, the thing is, like, they start the line and then it goes like boys off. So yeah, like, I can see how.
Holy felines, Batman.
I smell like cat.
Excellent work, man. Just
Where would it go?
That one got a little loud. I want to mute that one.
So I actually had a question
All right.
for both of you. So I'll start with Pedro. So how long would something like this take now to create?
Depends on the size of your team. That's the things like with a team of 7 really good animators. I can say like 6 weeks to 2 months, maybe.
And,
And
At the
Charles,
level of people I work with. Like I
John,
haven't worked with masters. So
you did this by yourself?
I did all of the animation by myself. It was I did all the keys, all the partials, um, and again scanned them all in and did my own work here.
mm-hmm.
Then on the other side, they would print out and this was thermal paper,
Yeah.
That thermal paper. So they would then take the registrations and repeg them and then clean them up. I think there were 2 assistants from me
Okay.
to do the cleanup and
Wow.
and in betweening. And I think I worked on it for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
For myself. That was me and then 2 others and then it was painted, inked and painted and
Yeah,
whatnot.
exactly.
They would work through. I think they were painting it on computer at that point.
Yeah.
So but I have my roughs of my
Awesome,
of these pencil sketches and roughs and stuff.
Yeah, dude. I still have my like Acme hole punch, but I think it's at my dad's house.
Oh.
I paid like $900 for that.
Oh,
way back
shoot.
when. Yeah, that was expensive.
I had to be, I ordered my own. I've got this. Hold on a second. Let me check. You want to see old school shit?
Let's do it. Dude.
While they're doing that, let me go ahead and welcome the chat. I'm gonna thanks guys for being here today. We've got quite a few people checking out the show right now.
Yeah, look at that,
it's
man.
Great to have you here. Oh wow, yeah, look at that thing.
Yeah, that will give you like the square peg holes.
It's
That's
Acme
like
peg.
Acme pegs.
These are Acme pegs.
Acme.
This one cost me in 1987 because I knew I needed to have that, so I bought it. It was about $250.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I don't know if you guys know this, but you know that the term Acme actually means pinnacle. It's the best.
Yes.
Right? Which is the irony and the comedy of Coyote's stuff always failing.
Yeah.
So let's welcome the chat. We've got Freighter CR here. Welcome. Hello there. We got Ronan Reviews in the house. Thank you again for becoming a channel member. We do appreciate that very much. Lord Sandwich. Welcome, Lord Sandwich. Agent Zero is in the house. Hail, everyone. Great to have you here. Glenn Fleming. Let's see who turns up today. You can see that. We've got the comic book black belt. We've got Russ Leach in the house. Thank you. And there's Aaron C. from Immortal Rising. Welcome, my friend. We've got Iron Age Media in the house as well. We've got Shism. I think you say it, Shism. Shism. Need more bacon and some eggs. And don't forget the dill.
Nice.
I do like a little dill.
That's a man of the world.
I'm a little dill.
So wasn't it Tex Avery that did a bunch of the Acme stuff, or was
that's Chuck Jones?
Yeah,
Chuck
Jones. Yeah, Chuck Jones.
What did Tex Avery do?
Tex Avery.
Was he the director?
If you don't know what Tex Avery did,
dude.
Whiskey, you really need to look him up. He's pretty awesome.
He's awesome.
My biggest Tex Avery memory is the wolf who sees the pretty girl and his eyes bug out and his tongue bugs out and he starts pounding on the table.
Yeah.
Was he the writer or the animator on that?
Yeah, he was
Director.
Director, yeah. He's a very over the top animator. Love him.
Yep. Yeah, he did some really, really fun
Pure
stuff.
genius. Yeah.
Yeah,
One of the
pure
greats.
genius. Welcome, Hojo. Good to have you here this morning.
And the things like with Tex Avery, like basically you see his pedigree throughout animation because you'll see things that you'll say like it's Tex Avery, but no, it's people who are just making homage to him. Like that's one of the guys. It's like the UPA studio. Like UPA, you only make like Mr. Magoo and Gerald like Boing Boing.
Yeah, it's like people homaging.
Yeah, but
Kirby at this time.
if you see like the Pink Panther, for example, they're like completely copying the UPA on backgrounds and whatnot. So it's just like. You see the pedigree to that, so how people influence the industry like that. And Tex is right up there with the greats.
Yep. Good morning, John Apple. It's good to have you here in the house today. Russ says, Burroughs.
Yeah.
Hojo has a local county fairground that did a comic and toy show a few months ago. I'm signed up. I have stable. He has a stable.
A stable.
There you go.
A stable.
So you're gonna sell comics and livestock, Hojo?
I would definitely do that.
There we are.
That would go off well here in the area
Put
I'm
your
at.
overalls on, you're all set.
Yeah.
Right.
For every
Ferrets
comic
in
you
the
buy,
house.
you
Get ready to do a
Welcome,
little
Tank.
mucking. Yeah, do a little
Welcome,
mucking.
Tank. It's great to have you here today. Who else do we have lurking in the place? We got a question. They didn't care about boba. What's wrong with them?
Yeah. Who are these people who have problems with Mr. Celestri?
They just lack taste.
With Don Bluth.
Yeah, I'm gonna send
Nice.
some of my cousins their way.
So I was at the
Start walking now.
I was at the county fair last night up in Howard County,
Yeah.
and I was I went to go get a Polish sausage because my daughter's never had one, and I was like, look, we'll share it because I can't eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
At a county fair, they fry them with peppers
It's
and
the
onions.
best thing. Yeah, it's
Oh my God.
you can't beat it. And this one booth, I go to it every time there. It's the same people, and they have the best ones, right? And so I go there and I say, yeah, let me do a Polish sausage. And he says, well, you can't do it, but you can take one. And I was like, my daughter goes, oh no. She's thinking to herself, he either just lost a sale or he just opened up for a really bad joke. And I stared the dude down, no words, 30 seconds, eye contact, locked in. And I said, look, whatever happens to that sausage after I take it is my business and not yours. You would have thought, I mean, he just lost it.
What did I miss?
Oh, nothing special.
Tell him now you'll have to take two.
Yeah, I'll have to take
Now
two.
that you mentioned it. I'll
Welcome,
take two.
Grey Wolf. Grey Wolf Graphics is in the house. Almost missed this one. You do not want to miss this one. This one's going to be a good one, guys. Let me see. Anything that I'm missing here? Pixel Traders in the house. Welcome, Pixel. It's good to have you here.
Yes.
So, Pixel.
Yep. The Mythicals and a Jackass, Pedro.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
what it's going to have.
There you are.
Marketing.
And we've got Immortal Rising is, dang, lurking while working and didn't see so many familiar faces show up in chat. Yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces here. And you're going to see a lot more as the morning goes on. Feel free to be a part of the conversation today. We're going to have a good time. Let's go ahead and get into some news, if we will.
Have a good time.
Do a little
Fry that bacon.
news. And let's fry that bacon
Oh, yeah.
to it. Where's my link?
This is generally
Wow, that was loud.
There we
well,
go.
yeah. News.
We're not going to start with Fun My Comic. We are actually going to start way over here. Check this out, guy.
What?
Check this one out. Comic
Anytime.
books for kids, providing comic books
We only see
to
Fun
kids
My
in
Comic.
hospitals and cancer centers. This is
I'm
awesome,
still
guys.
seeing Fun My Comic.
Yeah, we can only see Fun My
Oh,
Comic. Right?
ding
Yeah, I think
dang.
they changed the thing, like you have to reshare or something.
Well, all right.
Share.
Guess what? We're going to open up this. We're going to do it like this.
Yeah, do it.
Stop screen, present,
There you go.
share screen. Don't do that. We're going to do a window. StreamYard. No, not that one. That one. There we go. Bingo. Sorry for boomering that today. That's the reason why I tried doing it different today.
Yeah.
And I should never do anything different. Don't let my family hear me say that.
All right.
All right, so check this out. Comic books for kids, providing comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers. The CGC custom labels to benefit comic books for kids. This is pretty
Okay.
cool. The Certified Guaranteed Company, CGC, which grades comic books, is offering special labels designed by students at the Ringling College of Art and Design, and the proceeds from the sales of those labels will go to the nonprofit comic books for kids. That is awesome that they're doing that. I can see no better use of that money than to benefit comic books for kids.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
In fact, I had never heard of this before,
Comic books for
which
kids?
I had never heard of it before.
Really?
So I started looking into it, and this is definitely a charity worth supporting. I tried to do a thing. Copy link address. That's what I want, because I want to share this out so you guys can go check this out later and bookmark it and check out comic books for kids. So yeah, that's going on. I like to talk about the good things that's happening in the world. Let me welcome my brother here. Good morning, brother. Good to have you here. Dr. Ben just joined us. Welcome, Dr. Ben.
Dr. Ben.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. Yeah, exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I won't be changing that up again anytime soon. So yeah, this is pretty nice. So Comic Books for Kids donates comics to children in hospitals and cancer centers, and its sister organization, Comic Books for Troops, does the same for members of the military.
Oh, cool.
The organization raises funds in a variety of ways, including recently collaborating with DC on a comic. Very, very cool. I'm just, when I saw this, I was like, no, this is the kind of stuff we should be talking about. Unfortunately, the news gets racked with negative things all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
This is
Paris is
awesome.
burning, so
Man,
It's like a double whammy of really good things.
yeah.
And as we both know, when you're laying in bed, in a hospital bed, you want anything to distract you from where you're at. The better the entertainment, the farther you're away from your own personal problems. So.
Yeah, if there's a place that needs escapism, would be a
Yes.
hospital. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh. Look,
Shut up, chicken.
Randy and I spent, 5 months each in the hospital?
October, November, December. January.
Oh,
yeah,
speaking
5 months. Yeah. Now that you mention
Speaking
it.
of near-death experience, I almost died on Sunday.
It's terrible.
What'd you do?
Did you?
Yeah. Oh, I got new tires on my car, and the guys at the shop over-screwed my tires. And a tire just flew out.
Oh, no.
I wasn't going fast, but dude, I almost killed my mom. So there's that.
Oh,
Wow.
well,
yeah.
Pedro, I'm glad you are still here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Like nothing happened to anybody. Even like the tire, like just went its course. I have to work like a mile to get it. Even the tire is intact. I just have to
Good.
change like the bolts. on the
Yeah, because
tire.
there was a video going around on one of our expressways where somebody lost a tire in the car, ran over it, and it was like a ramp. They just went straight up into the air.
Yeah,
Right in
it's
the air
crazy.
like an F1 car.
I'm suing that shop.
Just
Man.
boom.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like
suing
Dukes
that
of
shop
Hazzard. Yeah.
to oblivion.
So, you might
Better more
remember
than make it
when
right, that's for sure.
ICV2 actually used to give us the sales numbers, the units moved on graphic novels. Guess what? They're not doing that anymore.
Ooh,
Look at that.
Wow.
They're no longer doing that, unfortunately.
Night Fever. That's got John
Where would
Travolta.
that
in it.
be? Yeah.
Night Fever, mature.
Hardcover.
But it's number 1. Something is Killing the Children, Volume 6.
I heard of this.
Number 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin hardcover. Number 3, probably the last thing from IDW you'll see in the list for quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything
Laura
else of
Olympus
note?
is there. Del Rey manga. Laura
Yep.
Olympus out of Webtoon.
Oh yeah.
Laura Olympus, yeah. Which we had a
And that's
feeling
volume 4.
that it would do well once
And
it went into print.
check out the pricing on that book.
Yep.
$21.
Yeah.
$21.
Mm-hmm.
Even.
It's a nice package, though. Nice hardback volume.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
you
you're
weren't talking
about
to
a
me.
lot.
gonna say.
Oh, okay.
That is not a joke. That is a natural fact.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh,
Well,
we're abusing the elderly now.
so speaking about
Hey.
being elderly and speaking about medical issues, I wasn't feeling well for a little while. I've been taking antibiotics and such for a bit, and today, so it prevented me from going from the gym. But today, is the first time I got back to the gym in a couple of months. So just a little exhausted, but
Oh yeah.
We're doing the same with the comics here, guys.
Top 50 comics.
Top 50 comics, making Spider-Man number 27. Void Rival, Image Comics.
Who's that?
Batman, Ultimate
Void Rivals?
Invasion.
I'd never heard of them.
Never heard of that. They're number 2 though.
Cool.
Look at that.
Who does number 2 work for?
Could be truer than you imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be true.
So you don't get
I
any
see what you did there.
numbers.
Ding yourself a bell. Give me yeah. No,
I haven't
no,
seen
John.
it, so we
They
don't
used
know
to
if
give
it's
us
number 2
numbers.
or not.
They used to give us units moved, but not anymore.
We don't deserve them. That's
And I
what it
pay
is.
for the pro so that you can see them.
yeah, we don't deserve
These are
numbers.
the pro articles right here.
But it makes it just shows that they really are embarrassed.
Yeah.
They must
Ultimate
be.
Invasion number 1 is up there. That's the lead into Ultimate Invasion Crisis.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was number 4, Incredible Hulk number 1.
$8.99 for that book.
$8.99.
You feel bad putting $5 on a 32-page comic.
Right.
$8.99. Ouch.
that's rough.
You know our
That's
Our-
smoke
our-
them while you
our-
got them. That's what that's called.
books that we're going to be distributing through Iron Age. They're going to be 32 interior pages, but they're going to be $5.99 because of to handle all the pricing model didn't work it just didn't work at $5 to have a middleman to do that work for us.
Yeah, like you guys are not like moving that kind of value to lower the prices. So yeah,
as soon as we can move volume, we can lower prices. But
yeah.
so this is the
Indie
top
comics,
50.
not bad at all.
Yeah, for quality indie comics, not bad at all. Oh, look at all that. And these are tested books, too. They've been successful in crowdfunding, so it's not like they're taking a chance on them. They're actually gonna move
Gunslinger
them.
Spawn. Yeah.
Yeah. This is by Dollars Raised. Ultimate Invasion number 1 made the most money because it's freaking $9.
Yeah.
Of course, it made the most money.
$9. Yeah.
So they're sitting there going, "You're lucky it's not 10." Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, this one could affect us all, my friends.
Yeah.
UPS Teamsters talks break down. That's not good. You want to read this one for me, Randy?
Man,
Talks on a new contract between UPS and the International Brotherhood of Teamsters have broken down
What?
early last Thursday with no new talks scheduled, according to both the company and the union. Both accused the other of walking away from negotiations. Teamsters voted to authorize a strike when the current contract ends on August 1st, if an agreement is not reached. The contract covers around 340,000 full and part-time employees for UPS, which handles about 25% of U.S. package volume.
Can I say something real quick?
Say it.
International Brotherhood of Teamsters sounds like a stripper company. They need a better name.
Male strippers?
Yeah.
Did someone call
Here comes
for a Teamster?
IBT.
Well, that goes back to a team of horses,
Yeah.
Yes.
back when they used to bridle up an entire team in order to pull a wagon.
Yep.
That's why they're Teamsters.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it's been around.
I don't know. It just sounds
Right there
like
with the
that.
Pinkertons.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
I love that era. The 1800s, 1900s, early 1900s.
This multi-billion-dollar corporation has plenty to give American workers. They just don't want to, Teamsters General President Sean M. O'Brien said in a statement released by the union. UPS had a choice to make, and they have clearly chosen to go down the wrong road. We're proud of what we've put together, or what we put forward in these negotiations, which deliver wins for our people. UPS said of its most recent offer, the Teamsters should return to the table to finalize this deal. The most recent offer from the company was, quote, unacceptable, unquote, and, quote, did not address members' needs, unquote, the Teamsters said. It's just another excuse for them to raise shipping prices.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
August 1st. August 1st may be the day that we start to
FedEx.
see an impact.
FedEx makes a lot more money than they used to. Yeah.
DHL is hiring.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, there we go.
DHL is hiring. I've seen the ads.
They're ramping up for it. They know what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I normally ship USPS. Unfortunately, they sometimes will use UPS as a delivery form as well.
Not if they go on strike.
It's gonna be fun, guys. This is not gonna be good.
This is not a show wait.
Not a show wait.
No. It's hard to sell comics when you can't get them in people's hands.
Right. We got Memes of
Well,
Destruction.
we should also point out that Diamond primarily uses UPS as well. For their
Yes, yeah, Diamond uses UPS. So that means
I'm not sure what the other distributors use, but Diamond I know uses UPS.
I mean, Diamond also uses Windows XP, so.
Yeah.
Dr. Ben has a great question. Anyone think Biden will shut down a potential strike as he did with the rail worker strike? I don't know.
Hard to say. It's only 25% of the package volume, and it makes the U.S. Post Office richer.
Yeah.
So it might be
that's
to
all
their
people
advantage.
want.
Just
It might be.
Plus, I don't know if they can. They're a private company. I think UPS is.
Yeah, it's not like the National
It's
Rail.
not like
That's
National Railroaders are government. So Biden can force them back to work.
yeah.
I don't know if they can do that for UPS.
Agent Zero says, on my day job, UPS has been dropping the ball, so we reluctantly have moved more business to FedEx, which has horrible service.
Yeah.
It really does. I hate FedEx.
Yep.
You know who else hates FedEx? My dog.
Okay.
She doesn't like the brown truck.
Yeah.
But
Nobody
she
likes
really
the brown.
hates.
Nobody likes the brown, really. If you think
Oh
of
my
it.
gosh.
Nobody really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog that I had, he was barking all the time, and we were constantly getting UPS because of and FedEx. He didn't care. He barked at everything.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here for, I guess, to say things nobody else can say.
Your dog's not down with the brown.
Yeah.
Grey Wolf thinks that that FedEx does. My dog is not down with the brown.
No, he's not.
I have to go. Yeah, like a black guy comes up, she starts barking. I just apologize. Like I don't know. We adopted her. We didn't know she was racist at the time. We do apologize. I apologize.
How
for
would
my
you
dog.
know that?
Here,
If your
take-
dog has
I don't know.
well,
Well,
like political leanings.
when we got her, when we got her,
Sheedy was tested at
she's
the time.
we didn't realize, but in her suitcase was a MAGA hat, and we're not.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't know what we were getting into.
Horrible.
The dog came into the house goose stepping, you know. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, she had
little
this.
thing.
She had a cigarette burn on her shoulder that had healed
Mm-hmm.
when we got her. So we realized that she had been abused, and
Way
so
abused. That's a
so
shame.
so I assume I assume that it was probably someone of darker complexion, and so she got.
That's hard to say. That a lot of that's bred, you know.
Sorry.
Bred
This is
in.
not supposed to be funny, but it's
All
hilarious.
dogs
All
are
dogs are
racist.
racist.
It's a fact, which gives me another opportunity.
That is not a joke. That is a natural fact.
Natural fact. Okay, sorry.
Oh, thank you, R.J. William, for throwing me a couple of new clips. They're getting their mileage today. They're getting their mileage today. So all dogs are racist. It's a fact.
Even my dogs.
Memes says we're all going to hell. I'm pretty sure we are.
If I don't feed my dogs, they're killing me outright. So yeah.
They were not just going to
I
hell.
don't
It's
trust
like
them.
a greased
How many
roller
times
coaster
must I
slide.
apologize for my goldfish is overt racism?
Yeah, dude.
Echofish is my spirit animal.
We should start a support group for people with racist pets.
Yeah, racist pets.
yeah.
sure
That
that
llama
exists,
is
right?
vicious.
It'd be the RPA.
My dog has gotten over it. Okay, my dog has gotten over it.
I went to therapy.
My daughter's dog, I don't know what her problem is. She just hates everybody. She just barks at every stranger. But my dog, Layla, she's getting over it. Now it's just delivery guys in general, not necessarily black people. So, but at first it was, and then I was like,
They're carrying a
so
large
I had
box.
to find a few of my black friends and say, hey, I need you to come over and give my dog a good
dude.
experience. You know, she needs to.
If your dog is a small dog, I'll do it. But if it's big, screw it.
She was a big dog. I mean, she's 55 pounds.
I don't know.
You know, but no. So I'm like, look, she's real skittish around. Whoever owned her was probably a big black guy, and was, you know, abusive to her, and so yeah, she didn't. Here, I'll stop my camera for you.
Yeah.
I'll stop my camera so that no one can ogle my daughter. She's looking cute today. But yeah, so we acclimated her, and she didn't like other dogs either. So, but we got her sorted out, and she's fine now. She's just real good with everybody. She just had to realize that wasn't the same person that had hurt her,
Right.
You know. And then once she realized that, now she's fine.
She's fine. You know? She just barks in German, but
she just barks in German. Yeah, she still says those damn Democrats.
Yeah, damn Democrats.
All the time. She's.
That's the work people. 1 second.
I saw her in a.
That's the Teamsters on strike, right?
That's
there.
the Teamsters.
The Teamsters on
yeah,
strike.
I saw her wearing a Hawaiian shirt the other day. She's trying to be one of the Proud Boys, but found out she's the wrong gender.
Wait, Hawaiian shirts are now something like a code for something?
Everything is.
I think we lost John.
Can't make a hand signal without getting into trouble.
Oh, I think John popped out for a second.
Yeah,
John very well.
Yeah.
Look, not everyone has the butt power that Randy and I have.
Yeah.
So it may take. Yeah.
He doesn't want to be part of this clip. I understand that.
Although canceling racist dogs is simple and permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wow, that got dark real fast.
Yeah.
Wow. Tank says I have a timeshare condo right at the Lake of Fire with AC.
With AC.
Yeah. Woof, woof.
Woof, woof.
That one wins. That one wins.
Yeah, there's no reason to go old yeller. You know, we're good.
Is that a Honda? Is that a Honda doing that?
No,
the Vespa.
That's a Vespa, yeah.
Little Vespa going by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very funny. So, anyway, all right. Well, that digressed pretty badly.
Yeah, we lost the guest.
Yeah, that. Yeah, where did he'll be right back?
It's always better to refrain than cancel. Yeah. Ronan's review says.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just like never be part of the club, guys. That's the secret.
So, there is again.
Longevity.
So
get your fly
back
swatted.
to UPS. Back to UPS. So it looks like we may have a little trouble there, but my dog does hate the FedEx drivers more than she hates the UPS drivers.
It's their shorts. Drives her crazy.
It's the shorts. She can't stand them. She can't stand them, and their smug attitudes.
Yeah,
she just can't.
The side of knees.
Oh, my UPS guy is always good.
I had one UPS guy that I didn't like. He was terrified of Layla. Terrified of her.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, when you're doing it long enough, I could see you'd be afraid of a barking
The dog is in the house, okay, being held back. I step out to grab the package, and he throws the package at me and says, "F you," and takes off.
Nice.
And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." Anyway, exclusive. Mad Cave Inc.'s deal with 41 Entertainment.
Yeah, to adapt 1990s animation properties to YA graphic novels from Maverick Imprint. Mad Cave Studio made a deal with the animation company 41 Entertainment to publish graphic novels based on two of its 1990s animated properties, King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, and Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Riders.
Can't say I'm interested in that.
That King Arthur series was like 12 episodes only, but it was really good.
It was really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Under its Maverick imprint, the first graphic novel will be released in 2024, January 2024. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice ran for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
In 92 and 93, it is notable for being co-created by Avi Arad, who would go on to become CEO of Toy Biz and founder of Marvel Studios after leaving to start his own production company. Arad was executive producer for the series, together with co-creator Diane Eskenazi.
Best of luck on that one.
Eskenazi.
Ooh.
In the cartoon, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table are trapped in a cave of glass. Tasked with rescuing them, Merlin travels to the present day, where he finds King Arthur quarterback of the New York Knights football team and brings the whole team back to Camelot, where they are sent on a quest for magic keys that will free the king and his what is that? Retinue.
The retinue.
And this week on Nerd Bacon, we stumble over words that
retinue.
Yeah, it's a retinue. It's a retinue. It's a gathering of
I
people.
have trouble with
It's a
my
retinue.
retina, but never with my retinue.
Yeah, like your entourage or something.
The series was adapted into a video game, miniatures, and a 3-part Marvel Comics series written by Mike Lackey with art by Keith Wilson, Michael Golden, and Marie Severin. The series was released on DVD in 2010. Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Riders.
Oh, that
ran for 2 seasons in 95 and 96 as an adventure fantasy, which the eponymous princess, eponymous.
Yeah.
What? Never mind. And her 2 friends search for 7 lost jewels in order to save their kingdom. The series was the basis for Rachel Roberts' YA novels Avalon, Web of Magic, which were first published by Scholastic and later adapted into the graphic novel trilogy Avalon, the Warlock Diaries, which was published by 7 Seas. The King Arthur series and its sequel, Princess Guinevere, as adapted by Mad Cave Studios to reflect a modern take of the Arthurian legends with a more dramatized version. It will target an older audience that never tires of these great tales, says Alan Bobot.
Oh, we can tire.
They're going after
41 Entertainment.
They're going after a little bit younger than me, probably in their mid-30s.
Yeah,
that's what they're going for. But Mad Cave has been very.
And that fly can get kind of irritating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute you for a minute. It was
Pedro.
That buzzing was getting very
It
irritating.
wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Wasn't you?
Yeah, the first time.
No, it's whiskey.
That's not the sound of the jungle, sir.
Oh, whiskey shaven. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like a princess who can ride jewels well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see,
Grey Wolf
that's,
says,
the jungle
have
sound.
you read J.C. Vaughn's Al Capone Vampire?
Oh.
I got a copy Tuesday along with 3 character cards. It's great.
Right?
Very cool.
I don't know. Like I
Welcome,
found Al
Apex
Capone to be
Comics.
like already scary. I don't need
Just
to be
call
a
me
vampire.
meme. Just call me insane is in the house.
Oh, you call me
Welcome.
Call me insane.
Insane.
I shall call
How
you
doing?
insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always better to retrain than to cancel. Yes.
Good on them. 2 series. One that
Yeah, Mad
it
Cave
reminds
normally
me of
does.
Camelot 3000. And the other one reminds me of Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld. But that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Mad Cave normally makes good choices. And I don't think they would go after it if they didn't think they could sell it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're
that's
doing
true.
quite good. So,
Godspeed, I say.
yeah, let's see how that one turns out. Here you go, guys. DC Digital Comics platform is now manga compatible.
Oh.
DC's rolling out a manga-ready feature for the DC Universe Infinite Digital Comics service that will allow the user to turn the pages or swipe the panels from right to left, which is the native format for Japanese.
Is this news?
Is that the manga of steel?
Yeah, it's just...
That is the manga of steel.
Yeah,
I think it's okay now. The
that is the
aliens
manga
are
still.
no longer attacking.
Good.
You're just done
Killed
shaving.
them. You killed them, Whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Slayed them all.
just thought I would bring this up that they're now adapting. I think they're more chasing a manga audience instead of trying to improve the comic book fans. Here's the thing: we've talked about this in depth especially when we had Finatra on the other day. We're not chasing that audience. We don't need to change. We're realizing that these other markets want our content. In fact, I had a young Japanese boy contact
Oh my
me
God.
and tell me,
Finish that idea.
I'm going to
quick.
finish it, okay?
Yeah.
Get your mind up out the gutter. Pedro.
Sorry.
So I had this young guy. He contacted me on my birthday to wish me happy birthday, and he said that I was his favorite comic book artist,
Cool.
which
Yeah.
touched my heart. Really did.
Yeah.
And we've been in contact since. You know, he's a big fan of Transformers, but it just made me realize that we don't have to adapt what we do if we're doing good things.
Yeah.
Right? We just have to make our work more accessible to these people. If we can make it more accessible to these other markets, they'll buy it. And what we're seeing here is DC, Marvel, all these companies, they're seeing the success of Viz and Manga Plus and all these other places like that. And, and they are trying to change to match the market, thinking that the crap that they're producing is going to sell, but it's not. Because it doesn't matter how much you polish a turd, it's still a freaking turd, you know?
And it's going to smell.
Yeah.
I tried watching on HBO this new Superman thing. I just can't watch it. After about 5 minutes, I decided to turn on and just to switch over to a Fleischer. A Fleischer
the new DC animations. Yeah. Which one did you try to watch?
The adventure. There's some new Superman thing, and I'm thinking, man, it's just it. I understand the cultural difference between how a style of anime works, and it's purely it's just not Superman. They're not taking the character. They're not using it. They're just taking the costume and put it onto an anime character. It is not Superman.
So it's bad. Like, it's not a good show. I've seen some social media.
Okay,
stuff.
it's the fact that they're trying to use anime tropes to tell a Superman story.
And that's basically what it is. It's every cliche that you possibly can do and throw it into a Superman suit, but it's not giving me anything new.
How does it compare to the Batman anime? Well, if you've seen that,
The Batman anime, the one where he drives a robot.
he's a samurai, I think, in it.
Yeah, that was horrible too. Like, I didn't like it, especially the CGI. Like, the CGI classical mix was really jarring, and I had to stop it after like a couple of minutes. Like, I couldn't watch it.
And I've done Batman already, so where I am.
Let's welcome Kitty Phillips here this morning. Welcome. We've also got Death Metal Hero, Luke Agler, the other Luke, the Dark Luke.
Dark Luke.
Well, that was a hell of a sentence to walk in on. I'm sure it was. I know he's talking about I had a young Japanese boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry. I promise I'll be less immature next.
Failed execs from DC and Marvel were hired at Viz and put some SJW ESG into the mix, and they pressured some high stakes mangakas to get political in their stories. That is unfortunate that has happened.
Yeah. You too can lose sales.
Yeah, you too. You too can suffer the way that we have. Jason Black says those markets are successful because they aren't Marvel and DC.
Indeed.
Yep.
Marvel and DC do not respect the characters. Their manga versions won't sell.
Nope.
Says Apex Comics, and I think we're seeing that.
I don't know, man.
That Superman is craptastic so far.
I'm ready for a like Viking burial for Marvel and DC. They just make them go away for like around 10 years and then come back with something good.
Oh, what did you say? A what?
A burial. Just bury them.
A Viking.
Put them
Oh,
away.
what? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about a book for a second. Or,
No.
All right. Okay. This comment is important because this next piece of in the article, Oni to publish Covenant webtoon with 630,000 followers. I don't think they understand that some of these followers are bots.
Yep.
That they're not real. Oni is going to make yet another poor decision.
Yeah.
The only people making worse decisions. Well, Oni made a lot of good decisions on some of their hires. on their new hires when they were changing things over.
They don't seem to be learning.
But they're not. Yeah, they don't seem to be learning too much. The only company making worse decisions is IDW.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just
that we know of.
That we know of. I mean, that's in this news. I mean, they're not going to talk about. They're not going to talk. Nobody is covering the Rippaverse and what's going over there, and Chuck Dixon working over there, and none of that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Nobody's covering that.
Yeah.
Nobody's covering any of these kind of indie publishers.
That would go against their plans.
Yeah, that can't happen.
The only news outlet that has mentioned Fund My Comic and what we're doing is Bleeding Fool.
Bleeding Fool.
Bleeding Fool, because they saw, hey, you're doing something over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people aren't even noticing it. But yeah, let's take a look. So anyway, Oni Press will publish Lysandra Vong's Covenant, a dark supernatural action fantasy romance that currently runs on the Webtoon platform, where it has over 636,000 followers and 21 million views. The story centers on Urza. I don't care what it is. It's just the fact that it's doing it.
Know.
But it's going to be a 208-page paperback that is going to be worth 2,500 pennies.
There you go.
I was just thinking about like the advertising or getting around some of these larger companies with obviously these portcullises in the way, trying to block your entry. What I would suggest is the Tim Pool route, right, where he got the giant ad in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you band together, as a bunch of people band together to do so, then you're going straight to the people instead of
exactly. And that is really what this kind of new Iron Age movement is doing. It's just going straight to the people. And so we're kind of all banding together with some of these other companies to figure out how we can go straight to the people and let people know about what we're doing. And so,
I would say a giant ad in New York, Times Square would be.
Well, it's definitely
did that.
It's definitely on the on the list of potentials for what we're doing. We're definitely doing a lot more guerrilla marketing than most people do.
I don't know, man.
We're working on that. Which
there's certain buzzwords that really, like, I don't want to say trigger me because I don't get triggered. I'm not wired that way. But when I say like this is a modern take, I know there's male on male sex on the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like I'm not interested anymore. Like I'm uninterested in new takes on old stuff. Come up with new stuff or don't come at all.
Yeah. This next article is from Bleeding Fool. July 7th, this one came out. Creator publishes drag queen superhero comics for kids.
Dead silence.
Yep.
I feel like when I was growing up, I didn't have the representation and couldn't relate to any character.
Oh, Muffin?
And couldn't relate to any character. That line just... my favorite show growing up was The Jeffersons.
Yeah, dude. My favorite character is the Sentry. Like blue-eyed, blonde superhero. I love them. I go all the power in the world and I go agoraphobic. I love that character. But, yeah. He's not black, so I guess I can't like him. Jeez, this is...
Yeah, most notable drag queens he was inspired by for these superheroes that he makes for kids.
Dead silence.
Yeah.
The whole classic series is about the 6 LGBTQ heroes that mostly forgive humanity for the way we've been treated for so many generations, because ironically humanity's survival lies in the hands of these gay heroes. Tell me they're not coming after our kids. Tell me there's not an agenda.
Yeah.
Look, I am not opposed to people living their best life, presenting and identifying as what they want. If you've gone through if you've researched it, gone through the counseling, and decide that surgical means to change who you are is what's going to make you happy, then by all means, do that. Please love and marry the people that you want to love and marry.
Yeah,
But please, 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 stop trying to make it out that all gay people are good and all straight people are bad. I'm sick of this. And kids don't need to know, nor do they, or should they care about the sex or gender of the character that they're reading about.
That's why they call it immaturity. They haven't. They're not able to make up their mind because they don't have the maturity to realize what's going on, especially when it comes to their hormones and their chemical makeup. That's why there needs to be heavy counseling well over any type of medical procedure.
Yeah.
Or a drug given to these kids. They need to have it settled in their head first before they start any type of treatment.
And this guy, Velez, his comic books.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yep. They say they should be viewed by children.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's the controversy. Yes, make your comic book, but don't make it for kids.
Exactly.
Kids shouldn't care about that. Look, here's the thing.
Don't aim it at impressionable youth. There
are straight and gay characters in hybrids. And I have a gay character, but it's not come out organically which character it is. Some people have speculated. There is a straight couple, and that has been brought out because it is important to the story. That's the whole relationship between Trashman and Chlorine is important to the storytelling. That's why we even bring that romance shipment up. That's why we do it. It shouldn't matter, guys. It shouldn't matter.
Nope.
Look, John, we're going to talk about your book here in a bit.
Yeah.
You've got probably the first transgender character that I've ever seen in a comic book.
Well, it's the thing about it is that it's an angel, and it's both male and female. And when it goes from being transformed from an ethereal being, which is all types, and it's manifested into becoming, a physical form. It's semi-mortal, semi-immortal. It's both male and female, and it made absolutely no sense to me that it shouldn't be that way. The form, Michael is both. I mean, Michael is the name, is both male and female. The aspect of an angel, I mean, if you work through the aspect of angels, they're not, the reason you have a male and female is to procreate. I mean, you don't do that, so there's no, they're not out there, they're guy angels and female and gal angels, and they're getting together. And
we know angels did procreate with humans.
Pardon?
We do know that angels did procreate with humans.
Well,
and pregnant women.
Created the Nephilim.
Yep.
Yeah, but you don't. But you know what? Both male and female. If you have the ability to have both male and female in the same situation, yes, you can procreate with others.
Yeah. So, but my point being, so you've got this kind of really interesting take on a transgender character.
Yep.
It doesn't get a lot of eyes on it, unfortunately, where it should. I mean, this should be really what people are wanting to read, especially if they have kind of these things. But you don't aim this at kids.
No, I don't. No, it's not. It's just aimed at that. I have it as 17 plus, but once again, that people will, when they're 15, 16, they'll go looking for stuff.
They'll get it, but you're being responsible, saying, "Look, this material that I'm writing is not intended for younger readers. If the parents let them read it, if they get it on their own, if they find some way to get it, then okay. But no, I don't intend this for them."
Right.
I think 17 is a good age, for to start talking about some of those things. They're. I don't think third graders. I don't think little kids. I wouldn't hand this to a 10-year-old at a convention.
Nope.
And I don't think that There's a line here. So Velez added that he loves seeing straight parents show kids the comic book, saying, look, when someone tells you LGBTQ people are bad, you tell them that they're superheroes. That's like saying, oh, every time you see this kind of person, they're... No, you cannot judge a person based on some simple things like sex, gender, race, any of those things.
Right.
You have to judge a person by the content of their character.
Right.
And
the aspect of I mean, it really is dependent on what's the character used for. What's the whole purpose of this?
Yeah.
You're not going to, if you look at what my Bloodwing Angel character is, it's basically the Book of Job. It's somebody who's played by the rules and it feels like it's being a pawn between God and Satan. It's basically, let's play with this character. Let's play with this person, this being.
Yeah.
And that's the whole aspect of it.
Yeah, and I really think that intent, when you publish, makes an important thing. I think that people should feel represented.
Yep.
And I know that people come in like, Luke, well, you're a bigot, you're this, you're that. Look, you don't know my private life. You don't know the relationships that I have with people that are part of that alphabet spectrum, that are transgender. You don't know those relationships. And anyone that does know me and those relationships knows that I'm not. But they also know that I'm a staunch defender of children and protecting kids from things that they don't need to be exposed to too young.
Yeah.
The truth is that here's another article that comes out: using comics to engage students won't help if driven by divisive leftism. People are trying to use comic books. So here's the thing. Education Week gave 4 ways they believe comics can be used to involve students in school studies, drawing from the work of the teacher. It begins, interestingly enough, with the following. Most classroom walls display rules about arriving on time or raising hands to speak. Tim Smith's has a sign reminding students that you're not allowed to ask which is better, Marvel or DC. That's stupid. You should be able to ask that all day long.
Yeah.
Even as he missteps, or even as he sidesteps fervent debates about which comic book publisher is superior, Smith leans into comics and graphic novels in his 10th and 11th grade social studies classes at that's going to get me. Wissahickon High School in Ambler, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
He believes they can offer students an engaging entry point into history and world culture.
Entry point.
Sure they can, if they're written honestly. But if today's comics and cartoons in schools end up produced for leftist indoctrination, then there's no point there in their use.
Gonna get a ding here.
There's a bing.
That said, how fascinating we're being told about this trivial argument about whether Marvel or DC is better. Because not only was it ill-advised to argue solely upon that years before, both companies have become unendurable since the turn of the century due to their shift into ultra-leftist propaganda.
There we go.
Decades before, the bizarre mistake made in their fervent debates was that they didn't seem to be based on story merit at all. They were just over whether specific characters and their titles were cooler or had better superpowers, and didn't add up to merit in the slightest. And that's what brought down superhero comics since. And despite what's told here, few mainstream comics today are dealing with serious history or foreign culture unless it's selective.
Yep.
Exactly. Comics were a gateway for me into reading. The vocabulary I have is because of comics.
Mm-hmm.
It brought my group of friends together. I would have sat alone but it was comics and games that brought this ragtag group of nerds together at lunchtime that got me through high school, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It got me through high school. In fact, I'm still friends with one of those people today, and I just did some work for his RPG that he's working on. Did some art for it, and I'm going to be doing more art for it. And
What did I miss?
Did you just wake up?
No, I just was dealing with sweaty work people, and they were cutting into a wall. That's what the buzzing was.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were shaving.
Sweaty work people. That's why he's out of breath. Hey, oh, sorry. And people say that real history, that capital H history, Smith said said his response. Yeah, so is Captain America #1. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if it's real history, but it's part of our history. It's not history, it's part of our history. Published in 1941, just months before the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, the comic depicts a shield-wielding hero punching German dictator Adolf Hitler. Once the United States entered the war, Captain America became a symbol of America's strength, values, and resilience. Smith tells his students, comics are a part of history. They are not depicting history in many places. They do give you a timestamp for what the culture might have been like. I really like the contrast of mainstream versus what was underground, and I really liked it when everything was underground. Go for it.
Can I interject here that this is a constant argument that I hear from people to try to justify comics as being propaganda? Now, the real argument, the real point they need to drive home is Wonder Woman and Marston, because that's more what we're seeing today. Because Marston, even by today's standards, is considered a radical deviant.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he introduced all of these concepts, fetishism, bondage, babyism, all of this stuff into Wonder Woman. And they printed Wonder Woman, and he insisted on writing all of the stories for that reason, because he realized comics can be used for propaganda in order to promote his deviant lifestyle.
Right.
No.
DC allowed this to happen because they knew who was really reading and buying Wonder Woman at the time. And that's because Wonder Woman became super popular during World War II because there were so many of these comics being sent overseas to the boys fighting to the troops. And the troops were reading this woman, promoting bondage and babyism and all of these fetishes. And it gave them, shall we say, more inner fire to fight the bad guys and to get back home.
I mean, it gave them inner fire. It gave them inner fire.
It gave them inner fire.
This is why
Trust me, Wonder Woman gave me inner fire, too.
Yeah, when Wonder Woman, and it wasn't just Marston, it was Marston's 2 wives as well that were helping write these stories with these deviations in it. When Marston passed, Wonder Woman went to Bob Kanigher, who had no idea how to write the character. And the character became very fantasy-driven, very aimed at a female audience, when that wasn't really the real intent. With Marston, when he first created Wonder Woman,
it was adult men was the audience.
There are books out on this. Wonder Woman was really the first hardcore underground comic.
Yep.
And it was done extremely well. And a lot of people, especially in the underground movement, realized that was the case. Mm-hmm. That's the example that they ought to be using when you bounce it up against today's deviations.
Yep.
In using comics, superheroes especially, as propaganda.
You know what the difference was?
We've had multiple decades since then. And granted, a lot of the superhero works were male power fantasies that were overly masculine and objectified women. Absolutely. But the problem is they lean back on Captain America as being the excuse why comics should be used as propaganda, when really their propaganda that they're doing is a lot closer to Marston's deviant behavior on Wonder Woman. That's a point I wanted to make.
One thing I want to say about the original first run of Wonder Woman is also the artwork. H.G. Peters is a very specific style of art, and it has a very different tone than everything else at that time.
He had a very Art
distinctive.
Deco look to his work, and Marston chose Peters specifically to give it that feel.
Yeah, and that, but he also
And appeal.
Peters was, I think he was about 60 when he was doing that.
70, 71, I believe, when he was doing it. Yeah.
Oh, well, then there's life left for me too.
Oh, there's always life. We're all dying at our boards, you know. I got a good 40 years left in me. So. Still coming.
Yep.
We'll be young
You probably
again.
do too.
Oh yeah. That's. I ain't going. They're dragging me out.
There you go. There you are. Yep, me too.
Jason Black does ask, wouldn't someone who's transgender feel represented by the men and women they aspire to be like? Maybe. I would think so. I identify with some female characters.
Yeah, you can find inspiration anywhere.
Not that I identify as a woman at all, but I
So
I
you
connect
wouldn't
with some of
judge
them.
you. Yeah.
You know, and I know you wouldn't if I came out today and said, guys, I really feel like I'm a woman trapped in a man's body. I know everyone on this panel would be entirely supportive. All of my fans would be supportive. Everybody that I know in CG would be supportive. Everyone I know in the Iron Age would be supportive. Not a single person would say anything except for probably my wife.
Yeah.
She'd be a little.
She might have a thing.
She'd have a thing to say about
A
that.
little upset.
She had a little thing to say about that.
Yeah.
Be confused.
Right. Yeah. But I.
Not hateful.
Yeah.
Not hateful, just confused.
Not hateful,
Like,
confused, but I don't know, man.
You lost your point. Anyway,
I did. I thought about, wow, that would be fun. That'd be a weird conversation.
Chisholm wants to know if this is a circus skit right now. Oh, yeah.
I wish this were a circus. I wish this was fake. I wish this wasn't real, but
The thing
it
that's
is.
really missing in modern comics, the thing that nobody up there wants to recognize or understand, is that they are building, or were building, I should say. They're not doing it anymore, but they were building role models, because a lot of us grew up reading comics and getting our moral base, our ethics base off of these characters. Spider-Man was fallible. He was everyday, but he had a set of ethics and morals that he stood up to. Superman is a prime example of that, because, and we've seen in later Elseworld stories and all this, that he could have grown up completely different with a whole different set of ethics and a whole different set of morals, but he didn't. And those are the ethics and morals that we all read when we were kids. The entire idea, the Campbell dynamic of building heroism is gone now in comics, and in fact it's looked down upon as being male toxicity, and it really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And that's
terrible.
what's missing today, because Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel could be phenomenal role models if they wrote them correctly,
yeah.
and
we
should
have,
be
we have two
Storm
topics.
should have been an amazing role model if they allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
Shiri is the same way.
We
And
have
they just
two.
don't do it.
You can't
They
have
just
that,
can't
though.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
Well-
two topics today. One of them is the power of panels. So we're going to discuss a little bit some hallmarks of good sequential art. We'll get into that more when we really start talking about the transition from animation to comic books, since we have two animators that transition from animation to comic books, and we have so many storytellers here on the platform. I mean, on the panel. So we'll talk about that, but this really, I think, comes down to our second topic of crafting captivating characters, which I misspelled that in the title. I'm sorry. It was
It
late.
happens.
I was tired when I put it together. So, but crafting captivating characters it's when we break a character down to just a gimmick, I think we run into this. So Frater CR says, if heroes have to be exactly how we are, what can they even teach us? Which role model functions do they still fulfill? I don't think they do any, and that's part of the problem. It's that breakdown of heroism. It's that wanting, it's that being so pissed off that there could even possibly be a fictional character that is in every way superior to me morally and physically and emotionally. How dare they? You know, how could they possibly?
How dare you?
Dude,
Just-
that's the thing. Like I was reading, and I don't think I'm intelligent enough to articulate what I was reading, but it has to do with the morality of the defeated. Because the morality of the defeated is vengeance. It's guilt.
Ooh, I like that. That's
So
true.
So basically, what they're trying to sell is that they want to turn everybody into victims. So vengeance is moral.
Yeah.
So hatred is moral.
Yeah.
And that's something that I was reading about that yesterday, and it clicked on me. Like these guys want to make everybody a victim, so hatred is accepted.
Yep.
Righteous vengeance is accepted. And
Well, let's go back to this creator's characters. What did he say? Yeah. He said that they're heroes because they forgive people for victimizing them.
Yeah, exactly. It's victimized. It's victim mentality.
So because they're a victim, they're a hero. That's not how this works, man. That's not what the mythology is about. This is modern mythology.
Of a hero either. Yeah.
Okay. A hero is someone who overcomes odds.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so therefore you're looking at how does this person overcome with a certain sense of morality, which is right and wrong at the know the difference between right and wrong, and see and overcome all the evil that's being done to them.
Yep.
I mean, and the thing is that there are the hero could have all these human failings, but the thing about it is, how does a character overcome the problems? I mean, that's what, as a storyteller, though, that immediately the reader is the one who should be relating to the hero, but there has to be something to relate to. Right. And not be something that is saying, okay, I'm just going to take a gun and just go shoot, which is basically the whole thing about why we have so many mass murders. You still have to deal with, how is my character? What am I trying to say? And what is my solution that is a positive thing?
Bingo.
Absolutely.
This guy gets it.
Yep.
Yeah.
This guy gets it. Of course he gets it. He-Man inspired me as a kid. That's how I got into comic books.
Well,
My dad's friend saw me getting up at like 5:30 in the morning to watch He-Man on the first round when they come to pick him up to carpool. And so he had some comic books and gave them to my dad to give to me. He said, "Hey, I know he likes He-Man. He might like these comic books." He goes, "I got them for my son. He didn't like them.
For
he didn't
me,
want
when
them."
I was growing up, it was Rick Hunter from the Macross Saga in
nice.
the anime, and like that gentleman, that young man, exemplified what like a hero would be to me.
Yeah. I mean, he was the original simp, though.
Well, I mean, sure, but like he was still young.
Yeah, he was a young
He's a
buck.
young man.
He's a young buck.
But he did step up to serve his people, and that in that thing, he had that self-sacrifice. He had to fly into danger, multiple times, risking his life and service and duty. It's not and when I was a kid, I wanted to be in the Air Force, and I couldn't actually get into that. But that's for me. That's a hero. Somebody that puts their life on the line for other people.
Oh yeah, dude.
So John Apple here has a question. He says, "Whatever happened to reading comics to see what Earth-dominated plot was narrowly avoided instead of who the character is banging?" And I think here is the problem. The people that had the Earth-dominating plot are now dominating the Earth. So now they don't want to talk about that stuff because now they want to make everything else the bad guy. They want to make everything else the issue. They want to make all of humanity outside of the fact that we're honestly controlled by a class of oligarchs that are pulling strings and having meetings behind closed doors that none of us know about, and people that you and I didn't vote for are manipulating the people that we did vote for.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. And the best way is to own the media. We understand this to be true. We've seen what's happened when someone speaks out against the narrative, even on the right. When you start to look at both sides and start pointing the finger and saying, "Look, you guys are two sides of one coin, a very, very bad coin. You are two wings on one really, really bad bird." It's not left wing and right wing. It's one giant carnivorous bird that is destroying freedom and humanity. The division that they cause and the pain that they bring on, the way they rape the earth, the way they rape people, it's disgusting. And that, but you know what? You can't say it. You can't speak against it. You can't talk about it because, you're going to get canceled. We had somebody try to get canceled on our platform this week. Yeah.
How is that? How can you even do that?
Wait,
I
what?
mean, it's an indie campaign.
Right. Well, here's what it is. So I'll talk about it here because I know that Patrick will talk about it, wants to talk about it, but he just had surgery yesterday.
Oh,
So he has some health problems and he had some surgery done. So be praying for him. But so he's doing this book. It's on Fund My Comic, Zorro and the Phantasm Cult of 1955 Hollywood or something like that. Which Zorro is in public domain. Anything pre-1929 is free of use. But his character vaguely resembles some of the Zorro of that era. But it's got an original take with Sugar Skull, and it really the story deviates. So it falls under parody, mostly. So it's really parody, mostly original material in there. And it only references kind of the Zorro of those old ages, right? So there's a company that owns Zorro Production, and they have a trademark on the logo. They try to say they have a trademark on the name, but you actually can't trademark a word. Like you can't.
Or Spanish for fox.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So you can't
And
trademark the word, right? So he has Zorro in the title, but everything else is like he's within his legal rights to do it, right? He's proven that beyond a shadow of a doubt to me. As the co-owner of this company, to be able to say that it's good to go.
Yeah.
Well, I get an email.
Zorro means fox in Spanish, and in its female form, it means loose woman. Zorro.
Oh, okay.
Zora. Yeah.
Zora.
So
Here to expand culture.
yeah. So I get an email saying that that these people did not license Zorro and they want me to take it down off the platform. So I contact Patrick. I say, hey, this is what's going on, and he goes, no. And I said, does this have anything to do with this other guy that did pay for the license for his comic book and basically swiped your cover? Because Patrick had this cover that he drew up, and then out comes this other cover for the Zorro, which no one had ever put Sugar Skulls and Zorro together before, and Patrick did, and then later on here comes this other one that's doing it, right? And I said, does this have anything to do with you calling them out on social media all the time for swiping your cover idea? He goes, I think so. So I advised him that our legal advisor said that they're not in violation of our terms of service, so we can't take it down. Like that would be violating our promise and our terms to our users if we would take that down. And but yeah, so they tried to come after him, and the difference is, here's this, a very outspoken Comicsgate guy. They're trying to, and it all comes down to money, I think.
Yeah.
Because he didn't buy their logo. He didn't license their logo because he didn't need it.
Yeah.
He didn't need it for the story he was telling. It's what's there is covered under
just make sure the logo is
public
different from all of the other copy or
it's
the
completely
trademark
different.
logos. So
yeah, it's completely
Zorro,
different. Yeah.
Zorro is public domain.
Yeah.
Zorro has been public domain for a long
2018.
time because they never bothered to secure the copyright correctly.
Yeah. As of
I did
2018, they ruled that anything prior to 1929 is public domain.
Yeah.
I had part of a collection that was 2003 that I did illustrations for that reprinted all of the early Zorro stories because they were in public domain, even 20 years ago.
Welcome, Tree Goblin. It's good to have you here today. Wokey Nonsense is targeted to West Hollywood a-holes. Yeah.
Sorry.
Nature defines you. Not mental illness. I agree with that.
Yep.
Luke, how dare you put forth such a radical idea as treating people based on the content of their character?
Yeah,
I know.
Like
Crazy.
somebody
Man.
said that before.
Yeah, exactly. Holy crap.
Jason says, I think nobody should be represented. If you see yourself in a comic book character, you're a self-obsessed narcissist and delusional.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's your
That's
question.
why
Melissa.
we should normalize
yeah.
slapping people when they do stupid stuff. Just, hey,
13
Oh,
watching. Well, actually, we have a
Like
total.
assault.
I think right now we have 16. We've been everywhere from 15 to 20 people watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, we only got 5 likes, guys. Let's throw some likes on this thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share it out. Let your friends know that you're watching this. If you're
Yeah.
enjoying the content.
Throw some grease on that fire, people.
Yep.
All those likes were for the buzzing earlier.
yep.
Yeah,
I think so.
must have been.
Where is Matt? Matt. Matt said something.
Man.
No, he says we support your decision, Matt.
Yeah.
I don't know. I missed that right there.
Yeah.
Right, but if you want to be a woman, Luke, you choose a woman as your role model. Yes, I would. You wouldn't need to see trans women in anything. You would look up to other women. I would.
Yeah.
I would. I actually do look up to other women. Not as but I'm inspired by women. My wife inspires me. The strength that she has, this quiet strength that she has.
I look at women all the time.
And she's the big money earner right now in our family. She's killing it. Like, she's my sugar mama. Gina Carano, the poise that she has in the face of adversity, the strength that woman has.
Yep.
I look at her a
Very
lot.
admire. And she's gorgeous.
Yeah. Especially
Different
that
ethics
Halloween
and
picture.
morals for Superman are shown in the characters of Supreme and Omni-Man. Yeah, you see that.
When I was growing up, Superman was sort of obviously the first superhero for me. But as a kid, to me, it was like, here's this guy who it was so powerful, but he knew how to. He didn't lord it over anybody. He held his power, and just he knew he had self-control.
Yeah.
I mean,
Superman.
to me, a hero is somebody who is so has great power, but but does not exert it unjustifiably
Yeah.
in
Right.
terms of to say unless to save somebody.
And for his own gain. Like, yeah. Just,
It was comic books that taught me that the smartest person in the room doesn't have to say they are.
Yep.
And the strongest person in the room doesn't have to say they are.
Right. Yes.
Because they know they are.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point
Mm-hmm.
in proving that to anyone.
Right.
They're so confident in themselves they don't have to prove it.
Right.
That when someone starts coming in to try to make a big deal about themselves, you know that they're trying to compensate
Yeah.
for their lack of whatever it is they're trying to project.
Right.
But when someone with real power and gravitas walks into a room, you can feel it. When you're in their presence, you know that person is strong. You know they've been somewhere. You know that they know something. 2 days ago, while walking around this fair, I ran into a guy who I'm a huge fan of. I don't know if you guys are a fan of stand-up comedy, but I am. And I particularly like Christian or clean comedy, stuff that I can relate to. Unfortunately, a lot of Christian comics aren't real funny. So you try to find the ones that really are and that really understand, and can, kind of riff off of what family and like interactions are and just kind of have a joke about that. And so this guy is part of a group of comedians that I find incredibly hilarious. And I saw him walking around.
who is it?
This guy named John Branyan. He was walking around. I'm like, John Branyan, how are you
Gonna
doing?
look him up. Gonna look him up.
Yeah, you got to look him up. He's hilarious. And he goes, do I know you? I said, no, you don't know. I said, your daughter came to my youth group a couple times. And I think your wife knows my wife. Like you guys would know me through Beth, but no, I said, I'm just a fan of your work, man. It's good to see you. I think you're hilarious. Where some people like go off like with bands or things like that.
Yeah.
For me, I love stand-up comedy. I think it's one of the hardest things that you can do. And really, stand-up comedians normally what they project are really the opposite of who they are.
Yeah.
In many ways, because they come across really funny and outgoing, but they're not really that.
I've done
most of the
stand-up
time,
comedy,
yeah.
man. I've done stand-up comedy for 10 to 13 years, and I don't want to say it's hard. It's just like you have to lose that sense of dread to bomb. Once that's gone, you feel free, and then you do what you will. And if you lose a room, take them to hell with you. That's
For the record, guys, I'm not suicidal.
no okay. Yeah.
If something
that's
happens,
the thing with stand-up. That's the thing with stand-up. Like a lot of people don't have too much ego to go on a stage and bomb. And when you do stand-up, that's inevitable. One night, at least, you got to bomb horribly. If you don't, you don't learn. And that's the thing.
I tried comedy once.
Yeah.
Did you?
How was it?
Yeah. No, it's terrible.
Comedy isn't pretty. Yeah.
Oh, dude, like I had great nights and I had horrible nights. But I remember the horrible nights because that's when you learn, like, okay, I went there and I shouldn't have. And I said that last thing to that lady, and I shouldn't have said that. You remember everything. But that's the thing. Like, if you're devoid of ego, like on stage, like I have ego, like I'm a normal person like everybody, but on stage you can't have an ego because if not, you're gonna get demolished.
I tried to mix music and comedy. It just was a terrible combination of like improv and just
that takes
Bo
a rare
Durham does it
talent.
really well.
That takes an
Bo Durham
incredibly
does
rare
it so
talent
good.
to be able to do that and do it right.
I can do one,
It really does.
and I can kind of do the other, but I can't do both.
Have you seen Bill
Darren.
Bailey? Whiskey?
Sorry, what?
Have you seen Bill Bailey?
It
British
sounds
comedian.
familiar.
British comedian. He mixes comedy with music. He does it really well. Check him out if you're into that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to like go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's called Flight of the Alcatraz or Flight of the Condors.
Oh, Flight of the Conchords.
Concord. Flight of the Concord.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
They're
Those guys are
hilarious.
good.
I love. It's so hard, and a lot of these guys suffer from depression and sadness. That's what I mean by the opposite of what they, they're making people laugh. But John, he's one of those guys. So he asked because he knew I was in ministry. Well, he was reminded that I was in ministry, and he asked what I was doing now. I said, well, I draw comic books, and I said, I always get that look that when I say I draw comic books, they're like, oh, and he goes, yeah. So they're saying that when people would say, when he would tell people that he did comedy, they go, is that all you do?
Yeah.
And and his wife says, do they ever tell you to draw you something on the spot? I said, no. He said, but they used to tell him, well, say something funny. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
Say something funny.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You got to pay. You got to buy tickets for that. Like, I don't give the funny away. Come on, But
It
I told
always
him,
comes
like,
to me with ladies, like, make me laugh. I was like, strip.
yeah. I told him I do get people wanting me to draw their tattoos, which I don't mind doing, or they want me to draw them as a superhero, which in some cases I will. Most cases I just won't. And if the thing is right, I'll do it. Mostly sentimental purposes, not for vanity.
So speaking about comedy, I have a question for both Charles and Randy here. What
Charles?
Charles? Who?
John.
John.
John
Oh, I keep
Sylvester.
calling you Charles. Sorry, John.
Okay.
John's been real nice and answered to Charles.
I apologize. But I'm so sorry.
It's just Canadian demeanor, man. And you're
I
both
just-
I'm
Canadian.
from Brooklyn.
Yeah, we're Brooklyn. You see? But you lived in
John.
Canada for a long while.
And Randy, what's it called? Comedy and comics. What makes a good sequential storytelling? What makes a spectacular comedy?
Well, it's the same as what makes a spectacular comic. It's the combination of words and pictures and knowing how to place both of them in order to lose your audience. I mean, to lose the audience in what you're doing.
Is there anything in particular, like a book that stands out for you as one of the better comedic works?
I always lean back. You want to learn how to do sequential art and how to tell a story with words and pictures. Eisner's Comics and Sequential Art book, you can't beat it.
Okay.
and it applies to all sorts of stuff. The Spirit was a pretty funny strip and had a lot of comedy elements and a lot of comedy stories in it. And Eisner's just a true master sequential artist. You can't get any better.
And then there was a whole period of that. That was, I mean, you have Jack Cole, that same period. They were doing Plastic Man.
Yeah.
You know, doing well. I would say even some, you know, the Kirby stuff. I mean, in terms of you know, there's a lot of dark, noirish stuff in the early Captain Americas. You know, like a Simon Kirby stuff. They went from all kinds of fantasy and a high adventure and whatnot, but also the original Captain Marvel with Otto Binder. You know, as the amount of fantasy, whimsy, adventure. You never knew where it was coming from because it broke through all kinds of material, including Captain Marvel, you know, carrying a bag of five chopped off heads. You know, there's a whole story about that.
Let's talk.
But it was
brass
done
tacks.
with a lot of whimsy. There was a period where Captain Marvel was the #1 selling comic.
Oh yeah,
and it was coming out every other week, and the majority of those stories were written by Otto Binder.
Yes,
kicking them out.
Let's talk brass tacks for a second, okay?
Yeah.
So, power of panels. In comedy, I mean, in animation, you have keyframes.
Yep.
Right? Which is
key poses.
Key poses, right? And then you have before the action, moving into the action.
Anticipation, action, reaction.
Yeah. Action, reaction. Anticipation, action, reaction. Yeah. In sequential art, sequential storytelling, you don't get the opportunity to do all three.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you can.
Not in some senses.
Yeah.
Especially if a writer doesn't understand the sequential storytelling.
Well, that's very true. Yeah.
That's when you run into it. When someone says, "Oh, they run in and jump," it's like, okay, well, what do you want me to draw?
Yeah.
Do you want me to want them running in? Do you want them at the start of the jump, mid jump, or on the landing? Yeah. Where do you want? At what point in the action are we trying to do this?
And within that sentence, I have a couple of questions, like jumping from where and going where. Because that will help me with the camera placement. Like if he's jumping from a plane, like he's jumping from the plane up to the great void as in a parachute. It's a different camera placement that say like he's jumping from one rooftop to another rooftop. So there's questions in that writing.
Right. When it comes up, are you jumping from one panel to another? Because you could do the jump
exactly,
and use it as a way of directing the eye to go from one panel to another, and then wind up landing on the bottom of the page. I mean, so what are we doing here?
So in comedy, nothing displays setup, action, reaction better than the comic strips you find in the newspaper. Go out and read your Peanuts, read your Calvin and Hobbes, and you'll see that setup constantly over and over again. They have it down to a science. Setup, joke, reaction. Almost all the time.
Still basically animation. It's
setup, action, reaction. Yeah.
Still the silent films. With Charlie Chaplin is anticipation. Tell that you're going to do something. Tell the audience that you're going to do something. Do it, and then tell them again that you just did it.
Yeah, it's just, it's the whole like Buster Keaton, Chaplin, Harold Lloyd. Like you study that because that's like the essence of what.
So with the experience, combined experience of this panel, let's break down some hallmarks of great sequential storytelling. I think the first thing that I would say when I'm looking for someone that's a quality sequential storyteller is how they choose camera placement.
Yep.
I think how they set up the scene visually. It's like the cinematography of comic books. I think it's incredibly important. It's the layout, how they do that layout, the camera. For me, number two is how they are able to portray the action across the page. It's in the setup, and then it's how do they choose where they draw the action, like how do they end it?
Yeah.
You know, is everyone standing? Is there? I mean, there's a lot of elements to that. But when I'm thinking of that, if I look at it, does it feel like I've watched it move in my mind?
Gotcha.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's difficult to explain. But I think we have enough people here with the experience that we can try to break that down to how to take a script, something that would normally move, but we're drawing individual images that span. So it's like keyframes,
Yeah.
but further apart, in my opinion.
Well,
You're not wrong there.
Well,
Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
think of the gutter as a blink from one pose to another. You know, you blink and you can shift time, you know, depending upon what you want to do. And this is a key thing for me, and that is without that white space between panels, it is confusion. You do not know how to lead the audience. Use that white space in a nice way of shaping the panel so that it's interesting and leading from one panel to the other. But but basically you need to know the cinematography in a sense of where you place your camera and then rotate, and then the idea of not to confuse the reader, jumping the camera so that you have a disorientation.
Yeah. Also, there's more freedom in comic books because you're not like tied to the 16:9 like framing of a TV screen or the 25 point whatever of the movie screen.
Right.
But still, your camera placement, it's another character.
Yeah.
So camera placement is very important. Silhouetting your characters. Are your characters clear to be determined from the background? So having really nice silhouette helps with clarity, and then it won't be as jarring. So the reader can pay more attention to the story. Because it's like, okay, the guy's running. I can clearly see he's running. He's running in X direction in perspective towards the goal.
Right.
If you have a clear silhouette of the guy running, nobody's going to question like, okay, what's happening here?
Right.
And then you lose them.
Right.
So that's kind of the things that you, I mean, there's like 12 principles of animation that I think they apply to comic books too. And one is layout, have a proper layout. The other is silhouetting and knowing where things are coming and where they're going is very important. So direction, how do you direct the panel? That will direct the eye so you can go to the end of the page.
Right.
That applies to film, that applies to comic books too.
You know,
people need to know, you know, you have to at least set it up so that the audience isn't totally confused that he's in one panel he's running one direction, then he's going another direction, and then another direction again. I mean, and then he's coming. I mean, there are things that are done as an impactful image that stand alone, but as part of the panel in the page, you have to think of it, the whole page, as one thing.
Yeah.
So that you don't confuse the audience. Otherwise, they're saying, where am I? What am I doing? At least be able to tell your story without dialogue.
Right.
Yeah.
I like to draw the pages how you would open them, you know, how they would be laid out in a book. I think a really good storyteller considers the page layout from one to the next for their page turners and how to move that action from one page to the next.
Right.
The setup, I like the idea of the setup and the payoff. Like Bunny was saying here, the setup and payoff. And the dialogue is vital to comedy in comics, but I think it's vital to the action or to anything. Like there's one scene where I like to write scenes. I like to think about the scene
Right.
and how that's going to work. And if your artist, if you're working with an artist that doesn't understand that and doesn't consider those things, then you probably need to find another artist, I think, because
Yeah.
because the scene, that's how you film a movie. That's how you tell a story. That's how you write a book. You're writing that scene. And so I had this scene that ends with a button push that's supposed to start an explosion, right?
Right.
You turn the page, it's a new scene. Set up, no payoff.
Right.
It's the action is implied. You know, as much as I love drawing explosions, let's it's that's
Yeah, but
because I put room for comedy, and there's a lot of physical comedy going on in that scene as well, where you've got one character that is setting up this explosion, and you've got these other three characters that are just being kind of hurried along while they're arguing, while they're bickering back and forth.
Yeah.
And so it does come down into that, but there's this rule about camera angles when you're filming that if you're doing a
degree
scene,
rule.
where you keep
That's
them in the same
crossing the axis.
yeah, you never cross the axis, right?
Yeah.
Now sometimes you do that. Sometimes I'll go up. It depends on what you're trying to go for. Now I did one page, and I've seen other artists do this, where if you're wanting to convey chaos, you make the panels chaos.
Yeah.
Well, what order?
That's the thing. Like it's a principle, not a rule, because it can be broken. If your goal is to disorient the reader, then yes, you cross the axis. So you don't say like it's a rule you never break. No, it depends on the storytelling. I remember I received a script a couple of days back that there was explosion, but it's before the book starts. So the first page you just see like a space fill of debris of a ship that exploded.
Awesome.
And it's like it's okay. What happened here? And that's right. The script starts with the question. So if you show the explosion, the impact of the investigation is not as crucial, because you need that element of the unknown. What really happened? So it all depends on the style of the writer, and it all depends on the communication between the artist and writer is really important in comics. I've noticed, because sometimes writers will have ideas in their head that they want to see on page, and they're not really good at communicating graphically, I guess would be the word. And it becomes a tedious experience for the artist.
Luke understands this. You have to know the rules so that you can break them effectively.
Yeah.
And I think that I think that's why we see a lot of pinup artists, cover artists, not a lot of sequential artists in the independent fields. And when you do, they get a lot of work.
Really.
I'll be honest, I do. I get quite a lot of work. And I love it. I love
artist?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we all love working.
I have a great Dick Cavett video clip up on my Facebook page where he's talking to Orson Welles.
Oh, nice.
And he says, what do you think your number one attribute was when you were creating Citizen Kane that made it the classic that it was? And Orson looked at him and said, dumbness.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he says, you can learn everything about filmmaking in about a day and a half. Or an hour and a half, I think he said. An hour and a half or a day. It's a short period of time.
He said an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Everybody else, makes it more mystical because they make their living at it. And, they can do. But you can learn everything that you need to learn about doing movies in about an hour and a half, and everything else is doing it.
Lack of imagination kills so many great stories.
And he said that he had the best cameraman in the business came up to him when he found out he was going to do a movie, and said, "I'm your cameraman. I want to work for you." And he says, "Why?" He says, "Because you don't know how to make a movie, and you're gonna go through and do things that nobody else has ever done."
Yeah,
and that's what it is. If you look at Citizen Kane.
That's true.
There's a great documentary over on Max right now of the making of Citizen Kane, where they show you all of this. He thought he was nuts. Orson Welles was crazy. They burrowed into the studio floor about 6 feet in order to get the camera at the right angle that he wanted to convey the shot with. Yeah, it's just amazing.
That point is still proven. I mean, even though those guys end up in disgrace, like the guys who made Game of Thrones, when they filmed the Battle of the Bastards, that film shoot was impossible. Like all the crew was like, "Dude, what are you guys? What? We can't do that. This is TV." And he's like, "No, let's do it." And they pushed them. A lot of people ended up in the hospital out of exhaustion or whatever. but they did it, and now it's in film. I mean,
Yeah.
they dropped the ball in the end, but yeah, that's the thing. Like
That
sometimes,
was writing. Yeah.
yeah, I guess I would call that valiant ignorance is
Yeah.
needed
Right.
to push
Yep.
the envelope. But yeah,
Mhm.
Ronan says that as a writer, he finds sometimes I have ideas in my head that I forget to convey in the actual writing.
yeah, that happens a lot.
Always
Yeah,
do
it
that.
happens a
Always
lot.
do
Like
that.
carry a
I get,
notebook
like-
with you all the time.
Yeah, I get comments on panels like, Pedro, like, you didn't put this in. Like, dude, it's not in the script. Like, if you
Yeah.
want it, I'll do it. Like, I'm not arbitrary like that. And if
Yeah.
something that looks important, I'm gonna put it in. But if you don't put it, like, I didn't study that in college, man. Like, I'm not a medium. Or
I watched
mind reader.
Gaslight for the first time a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Oh yeah.
Just like, yeah, the whole cinematography of it, the whole
You're talking Chaplin, right?
no Gaslight
No, Gaslight.
No, you're talking about that's
with
the one.
Ingrid.
Bergman?
Ingrid
No.
Bergman.
What's her name?
Yeah, Ingrid Bergman.
Bergman,
Ingrid
yeah.
Bergman.
Berman. Yeah.
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 And,
Okay. I'm
Where she
thinking of a
marries the
different-
guy and
Yeah.
he was
and
actually
in
the one that
Gaslit,
killed her.
you know,
right? Yeah.
you're thinking of City Lights.
Oh,
Yeah, City
probably.
Lights.
Yeah.
City Lights, yeah.
Yes, Chaplin is City Lights.
Yeah. Gaslight.
is, you know, and
Where he makes her think she's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Just
That's
so
where the
well
term
done.
gaslighting came from.
Yeah, just so well done.
Right.
And
Well, a lot of those old movies are incredibly
Really good.
classic. Yeah.
well, they didn't have special effects,
yeah.
And so it's all the writing, baby.
right? And so
Yeah.
that's what I love about practical effects from older movies is they had that, and that's what I love about like Kirby's art. He had this galactic scope of imagination, and he conveyed it on the Jack Kirby, known for opening a comic with a splash page, turning it and having a 2-page spread. Most editors, when you do that, will rip you a new one and make you stop. You know how I know? Because every editor I've ever had, when I say I want to start off a comic like that, they rip me a new one. They say, nope, waste of space, don't do it. And I'm like, oh. You know what? One of these days I'm going to do it
Narcissistic
anyway.
Writers. Anyway,
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to do it anyway.
and you should.
Because and I think lack of imagination kills so many people. And when you see it, lack of imagination in the descript of the panel or the page, a lot of timid artists, or what I call work for hire guys, that they basically just want to do the job and leave it alone. They don't really
Yeah, but-
care.
Again, it took Kirby to go off and do his own writing before that happened. Though.
Yeah.
It took the Fourth World stuff for that to occur, because before that he was always doing straight comics.
Yep.
I mean, straight sequential art, splash page in the front, 4 to 6 panels from there on. You know,
Well, I
very
remember
rarely did he throw a
Fighting
splash
American
page.
was pretty different. It wasn't straight. It started off, but it wound up being very.
It had its variances, but that was all. They had like long. It'll have a 2-page spread across the top of the story panels if they knew how the story was going to lay out
Right.
in the comic.
Yeah.
But a lot of
Oh,
that too
I
was
love that.
because Simon and Kirby were working for DC also at the time, and they stretched a few stories out to make a few extra money, a little bit of
Yeah.
extra money.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now I love the idea that you can accomplish so much with still images and panels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But again, a lot of this comes down to kind of the character. And really, we talk about these stories and being imaginative. The imagination starts with the character. Really, comic books are character driven. If we really think about that, they're not so much plot driven. Plot is
depending upon the comic that you're doing.
Yeah,
Right,
depends
yeah,
on the comic
yeah.
book, yeah. Depends on the comic
but
book.
it's why Batman and Superman and X-Men, it's why they're popular, because those are character driven things. That's why people are in love with the character, maybe the movies, maybe not so much the comic books. Then we have
Well,
this
they're
thing
classic.
like we're
They're
like
classic IPs, especially when they're
Yeah.
done right.
Yeah.
like now you've got Lock and Key and that is more of a plot driven, story driven graphic novel that has done really well on film and is kind of grown from there. But I think a story that blends both very well, in my opinion, is The Walking Dead. I think it did a great job, and Kirkman does the same thing with Invincible, where
I like Invincible better.
Yeah,
I haven't sat through Invincible, but Walking Dead is soap opera with zombies.
Yeah, but it was Rick Grimes and his story to start with.
Yeah,
and you connected with Rick. So what was his character going through, and that unraveled the plot, and then it just kind of, I got bored after a while.
Yeah, me too.
Frederick says he is loving the in-depth conversation this morning. Glad you like it. If you like it, be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell. Let people know that you're enjoying the show.
And then
they can come back every
turned
Thursday.
into torture porn, and they lost 3/4 of their audience.
Yep.
Since we're interjecting, yeah, I just lost my train of thought. So before, I think Randy was talking about. I wanted to jump back earlier, but I didn't get a chance. Setting up. Never mind. Just go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That was brutal.
Well, that's fine. You can find it again later.
Yeah, dude.
Once you find the bacon bit, pick it up.
It was awesome whiskey.
We don't even go by the 30-second rule. It doesn't matter how long it takes.
Yeah.
There you go.
So but yeah, so character is I think very important, and right now we have a rash of gimmicky characters like they are, and they did this early on in the golden age. We think about it as they were doing it, and you look back at all these public domain characters that are out there now. Gimmick. They were just trying things. And even Batman was gimmicky. Spider-Man could have been, but it was the depth and nuance of the actual character development that Stan wrote for that made it great. It's just like, Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Yeah.
When it comes to Batman, Batman would have been a gimmick that died, were it not for fingers being in the pie.
Really, Bill Finger and Jerry Robinson were the big ones on there.
Yeah. And that's the thing that makes me mad about Spider-Man, because his identity is so intertwined with Peter Parker. And that's what made it special. Because the things that without Peter Parker, there wouldn't be a Spider-Man. And now they want to get rid of it because they don't want to pay like the states of the family or something.
Yeah, it was really an oil and vinegar mix between Lee and Ditko, though, because Ditko was very much an individualist. Even especially at the time he was doing Spider-Man, he was doing entire plots that Stan would go through and rewrite.
I see.
And that once they started breaking down to the Marvel method, because Stan was so busy, and Ditko and Kirby were pretty much left to their own devices to tell their own stories because they knew how to do it. They could tell a complete story in 20 pages, get it up, knock it out, and send it in. All Stan was doing was putting dialogue in.
Right.
But that's the main control. The dialogue controls the plot and moves you can move your eye around all right, but when you're saying it could take on a whole different meaning. And because he changed a couple of those plots that Ditko had written to go one way and he had him go another way, it upset Ditko to the point where he started questioning things, and then he got really mad when he wasn't getting royalties for a lot of the merchandising that was coming out that was using characters that he designed. Almost the entire Rogues gallery is Ditko.
Yeah, dude. I mean, these guys are giants.
Ditko's period. Yeah,
they're giants, but they're also cautionary tales, man.
Yeah.
Ditko's style is so unique. He could draw the nerdiest characters.
Yeah.
I remember getting the running through the first Marvel material. I mean, seeing the Fantastic Four, the first 10 issues was really something. Seeing a high school kid like Peter Parker dealing with stuff and being about just a little bit older than me at the time. So because I'm like 12 years old when I see the first Spider-Man. So there was a real connection there.
Yeah.
There was a nerdiness. There was a certain there's a rawness to the first material that really is there's a texture to it that,
Yeah.
and once it starts becoming homogenized and it started to hit into the college groups. I mean, remember, it was a big thing for Marvel to be well loved and discovered by college kids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're talking about 1966, 65, 66.
Yeah.
By that time, I was already past comics. I was in junior ROTC. I was in the ROTC. I was in college, and comics I just didn't have time for. But I kept all the stuff that I had. But the early stuff, you look at it and you read them, and boy, it is that compressed storytelling to its best, because it was 24 pages
Yeah.
of stuff there, and they were all complete, but yet gave you you had conflict, you had resolution, but it also had a tale to keep following them for the next show, for the next issue.
See, a lot of these comics, their icons are right time, right place circumstances that happen like that. Ditko came along. Peter Parker was a spinely, thin high school student.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was spindly and was thin, drawn that way on purpose. Ditko was the ideal for that. The strip starts being more sophisticated. The readers start growing up. They go from high school to college. And they were so lucky, right time, right place, to have John Romita come in, who had a more sophisticated style, a little bit more of a sophomoric, almost a college look to him. It was a natural progression to show Peter Parker.
Talk about a master of sequential
older,
storytelling.
the women are drawn more beautifully and not, like ordinary women. You just get, like I said, right time, right place. They were so lucky to have Ditko during the period that they did, and then have Romita walk in right after that.
Yeah.
Literally grew that character up.
I'm telling you, Romita Sr. is probably on most sequential artists' top 5 list. If he's not number 1, he's number 2.
And that's somebody that really molded modern comics. And even his kids now are doing the almost the exact same thing that he was doing back then.
But you need to have that energy.
Marvelous to look at.
There's a grittiness that only comes if you allow it to. If you're polishing your art to the point where, and this is what happens with digital art, there is a perfection of line that they're going to try to imitate with a pen, with a digital pen, this thing here to imitate what you can get with a pencil and on paper. Well, everybody has their preferences and whatnot, but you need to be able in some way get that grittiness in to really get away from the perfection of digital art.
I intentionally, since I do primarily digital, I intentionally work in such a way to where there's imperfection on the page. I use a pen that has wobble to it, that has the grit to it.
Turn on your stabilizers.
And I intentionally, like someone, and I'm owning it now. They told me, they said, Luke, you are the Joe Walsh of comic book art. And I was like, what do you mean? And it was kind of a backhanded insult. They said, it looks great, but really technically it's imperfect. And I was like,
so what?
Wow.
Exactly.
What?
Right.
Perfection is for idiots.
No, but I laughed at it because I'm a big Joe Walsh fan, and as a guitarist, I understood that very well. Because Joe Walsh sounds great, but if you ever really listen to him, he's really sloppy. Everything he does, he's like super, super sloppy. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like it looks great, especially once you get the colors and everything on there. But if you get in real close, there's lines that don't touch. There's this or that.
Who cares, dude?
And I had an inker try to get a job once. He goes, hey, I would love to ink for you. Whoever you got inking for you, he's terrible. And he went on this tirade about insulting the inker. And I was
And
like,
it was
dude,
just
I said,
paying myself.
I hate
Thank
to tell
myself.
you, but I'm not going to hire you.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? I said, because you just went on a tirade and insulted me for
Yeah.
the last half hour.
Yeah.
So you're not getting a job.
Yeah, I'm getting a job. Nice opinion though.
If we're comparing like music to like I guess what an ideal comic would be in my limited experience, the new thing I would say like it's something like Go Go Bardello, like a a crazy gypsy band trying to get it right, but it sounds
I know
really
them.
good, but it's kind of sloppy, right?
Yeah.
And it's that's the best,
It's kind of like, right now, I look at indie comics and music. Okay, let's talk about rock and roll or rhythm and blues. Anybody who's doing, indie comics is basically trying to be, the equivalent of a Sun Records or any of those small independent, houses that it could be a one-person band for all we know. We care. But the idea is you're selling energy.
Yeah.
And imagination.
Yep.
If you want perfection, if you want slickness, so what? I mean, you are, this is what we're doing. We're a pop for the guys being around. It's either a mom or a pop, a bakery, a corner bakery in the neighborhood. And you live and die on your imagination and your ability to communicate. But sometimes, you have to have the right corner. And that's why I think that's why crowdfunding needs a place. And where you're doing this with Fund My Comics, where it's a corner shop. It's a place where the audience can come and visit and sample your wares.
Yeah, and there's a thing about perfection that really rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah,
That's what happens with CGI, and I equated perfection with photorealism.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been this race in the CGI community to let's attain just make it look like a movie. Then why don't you just film a movie?
Yep.
This is animation. This is art. This should be celebrated. So that pursuit of perfection, it's destroying the opportunities to see little nuances of what everybody brings. Because those little mistakes, that's where the art is.
Yeah. Look,
that's what makes people go like, wow, I've never seen this before.
Yep.
I love inking physically.
Mm-hmm.
I love drawing physically, but it takes longer for me to do that. Mm-hmm. And the materials cost more. Like this, I can make an infinite number of canvases on this thing in front of me. And it's way faster because I can afford to make a mistake because I've got that undo button, back Control Z. It's a lot easier than, taking chances on a physical piece of paper that I've already worked hours on. So it's like, well, how do I get the flexibility and freedom to explore those panels and to grab the essence of that character while still using, and still make it look very.
So, I mean, I've been
physical.
commissioned. I've been commissioned to make physical work, and I still do all the planning digitally before laying a pencil on the page. Just because I can work dimensions, I can work compositions better.
Yeah.
And then when I go to paper, I'm not making all those decisions.
Yeah.
Still, mistakes are going to happen, and I was like, it would be, worthy mistakes or mistakes that need some erasing. But all the decision making is done digitally because to me it's just safer.
I'll lay out a page.
That's a good idea.
Just on the same final size image. Okay, the whatever it is, and you thumbnail it. Just basically thumbnail it with a pencil. It's only a sheet of paper, and you're thumbnailing it, and so you can see in clarity what you're going to do. You can then scan that in and then use that as your template because you already know how it's going to appear in print. That's basically, it's only so much here.
John, that is a great comment. You're very, very right. But the big thing is so many of these companies have knocked the creativity and have discouraged any kind of artistic endeavor out of it that you get bland.
Yep.
Show that up
That's
again?
what you end up with. Yeah, show it
Oh,
again.
very good. Yeah.
It's just
Look at that.
basically here. This is how it looked,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just the size.
That's a very clean thumbnail, man.
And then you scan that and you scan that in.
That's a very clean thumbnail.
Very clean. It's way cleaner than my sketch.
The thing is,
My-
you're
I'm
doing
so
it. You know,
filthy.
it's kind of like I could give you later on some really scratchy stuff here,
I mean,
but it's kind of like.
yeah,
But
my
the
thumbnail's
whole
all
idea is
filth.
thumbnail it until you just run through as
Mm-hmm.
much as you possibly went with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that's ruled out, and you just keep on playing with it. Throw another sheet of paper on top of that, and you play around
Yeah.
with it.
Mhm.
Just keep
Yeah.
on building. It's okay because I didn't go to the Joe Kubert School of Art. Mine was animation. Okay, I learned from Popeye animators, Mighty
Yeah,
Mouse animators, and
nice.
stuff like that. I mean, that's what a Johnny Gent. I learned how to throw a punch. The best Popeye animator of the 1940s and
Mhm.
50s. That's Johnny
Awesome,
Gent.
dude.
Yeah.
And so,
Nice.
therefore, I learned it's a molding process, and I was never someone who just drew it clean. Okay, everything I took at least 5 goes at it. I would
Yeah.
start with a rough, then then really work on it, then throw another sheet of paper on top of that, with start working
Light
again,
box it,
again,
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And then pat on top of that, and then another one. And the molding process, it was like clay.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with digital.
Yeah.
I just keep blue
Actually,
lining them and turning them down.
I'm working on some filth right now. You want to share my screen?
Oh,
Yeah, let's do that. Let's share it real quick.
Yeah.
So we're sharing.
It's the
that.
same thing, just building blocks. So
Yeah.
I just go really
Yeah.
light on blue, then I go a tougher blue and just like tighten up the line.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with another blue to make it tighter, and then I go
Yeah.
to inks.
Yeah.
That's like the animator and me. Just
Yeah.
Now, okay, I've gone rogue.
yeah.
I've actually started doing just a really loose pencil
Yeah.
and then going straight to inks.
Ouch.
Oh,
Can we
wow.
can we throw my
Well, if
screen
you're
up there for a
drawing with
second?
your pen, no. If you're drawing with your brush, but the thing about it is that sometimes you have happy accidents.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Whoa. Hey.
Speaking of happy accidents, so yeah, speaking about doing panels and stuff and sequential art, and you guys are doing the digital to or the the paper to digital. I'm doing the exact opposite because my main job is a 3D artist, and like I have difficulty doing 2D, and I'm handing the stuff off to the to the 2D artist who's old school, so I'm setting up all these scenes, and then he's just looking at it. And
But
then
you know
drawing it,
what's
and then
really cool
scanning
about
it
this
back
whiskey?
in.
You know what's really cool about this whiskey? Like this really helps with the lighting, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I can set up the light wherever I want it to go. And,
So your art is gonna be like, okay, with the light source, like there's no, there's nothing to make up. It's right there.
you can even get the perspective lines set up as well.
Yeah, dude. And the canvas, like you
But,
can tell, like the material is canvas. It's really cool, man.
It's weird because like it's it's the exact opposite of what the old school, because we're going from like a the 3D perspective. I can set up all these scenes, and then going to a old school artist, and he doesn't even use, he just scans. So he's just looking at it and drawing it, then scans it and uploads it to me. But like you can pretty much like set up all these characters to do these like fantastic like different poses and stuff like that, and it's it's pretty quick. But like it allows me to get the story across, to be able to tell what I'm doing.
Yeah. The only thing that I would tell you to be careful with is that, dude, like sometimes when you do posting in CGI, it ends up looking stiff on paper.
Yes.
So that's the only thing that I will leave to the like. Okay, this is the positioning, but you allow the artist to take care of the posing.
Yeah, I'll use modeling for lighting and strange perspectives to see, okay, will this scene work and for moving my camera around? Like that's a lot of it. It's like if I know I've got, especially these big talking scenes, the big talking scenes are the worst for me because I'm like, I want to be really creative with it, but I don't want to, accidentally. I want to make sure that I'm fitting the panels up
Yeah.
where I've got everyone in there that should be in there, and it to still look like it needs to look.
Yeah.
As
And
far as
allow,
distance and
allow the
perspectives
action to
go.
be clear. That's very important.
Yeah, so I'll use models. I'll stick them where I want them to go, and then I'll look at it, and then I'll draw my characters from there. And I don't like the rigid poses.
Yeah.
You've always got to mess with it a little bit.
Yeah, dynamics and weight
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so
that
I made-
thing, like we call that stifferoni back in school.
Well, I showed off. I have a few cheat tricks now that I've learned to be able to move quicker and produce faster. Falling into the Wally Wood camp of things. And I showed, I showed Agent Zero the other day. I was drawing a page while with him on a back room StreamYard thing. And it's like I said, it's all about stretching it and forcing these perspectives. That's what makes comic books great. Like if you just draw what it would look like for a guy to have his feet up on the desk, that's boring. Let's stretch it and make it more dynamic, and throw a different lens on that camera, so to speak. It's about imagination, and you really could use that in the storytelling.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive, quite impressive in my book.
I think
how you can do
everybody
that.
getting into comics should take a crash course like we were talking about earlier in basic, filming and camera.
Yeah,
setup.
dude.
Focal
And there's
length in
books.
particular, right?
And
Because
there's books you can get, like film directing shot by shot. Is a must-have
Yeah,
to anybody who's interested in film.
I
for
think that
example.
this is a book that people should pick up. Quite honestly.
Yeah, Scribbles.
So Kelsey Shannon is a fantastic storyteller. Sequential art's been working in the business for 30 years. Another master of the trade. And his book is going to have commentaries in it, explaining his thought process behind the layouts and the composition of the pages and things like that. So you're going to get 200 pages of just a master explanation of this stuff. I mean, you can't, and you're going to get some hot pinups. You definitely want to check this out because I think that you guys will. Wow, he's done well.
Yeah, there you go.
This is exclusive, and he's got 13 days left.
Very cool.
Awesome.
I bet with a little work he can get up to 20,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bet he can. I bet he can hit 20.
Oh,
No
speaking
doubt.
of illustration, this is another recommendation for all you guys. If you want to get to the next level of drawing, try this book out.
What book is that?
Drawing with the
hold
right
on.
side of the brain
oh, I've saw that before. It's actually
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
by Betty Edwards. It was recommended to me in animation school, and it's just a matter of making drawing more scientific and how to interpret negative space and value and.
I'll be sure to pick that one up.
Yeah, dude. Actually, it's really. I'm looking for one particular exercise.
It's been around for
Which is-
decades.
Yeah. It's a very old book. She has a book on color theory too, but to me, this one's better. But
That
this
one's-
it's just a matter of the exercises go okay, I can get off normal screen. Can we go back to normal thinking? There's this little exercise where you go okay, draw like a black dot in the middle of a page, and paint the background light blue. Now do the same thing, but paint the background bright red. The point will be smaller, even though it's the same size. It would look smaller on the red one, and it's just like little things that will train your brain to basically depict reality. So it's really, really, really a nice book to have, and check it out, guys.
Great recommendation.
Yeah, if you don't you can draw, you'll end up drawing, and if you're drawing, you're just gonna explode.
Ronan says, I think there's a misconception that digital takes less talent. I know from experience this is not
No.
true.
No.
It can be more difficult. Digital,
It's
if
more
you're an
tool to learn.
artist, all art is talent. Okay, it's understanding and using the tools properly. You can do things with digital that you cannot do with physical, and you can do things with physical that digital is still a little far behind on. They can't quite copy. The tools are getting close, but there's still, something about putting pencil to paper. I wish I had a good light box so that I could.
Well, there's a physicality to putting pencil to paper.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I'm doing digital stuff, particularly cloth, and I see a lot of digital artists or 3D artists working with cloth, for example, versus like a hand sculptor, a lot of them will get, or even drawing, a lot of them will get the cloth incorrectly because you can physically run your hand, across a set of sheets, but that's a little bit harder when you're working a 3D environment. It's just one too many steps removed.
Yeah.
Because you're using a simulations, and then they have to be like on point with your math, and no gravity, and no. Yeah. I don't know. Like to me, that's very boring. That's why I don't do CGI.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's do it here. Let's do it in a simulation.
Bunny brings up that Jack Kirby was inked over by some heavy-handed inkers before. He's had a few bad inkers.
Horrible inkers, yes.
Horrible inkers is one of his stuff. Russ likes drawing the pose. He likes working out the lighting and all that. Yeah. I do too. I think it's a lot of fun.
But Russ is a freak too.
Yeah,
awesome.
But Russ, you're also a lot better than I am. I'll be honest. Yeah. Let's just be fair. You are, for me to work at a regular production level, I'm going to need some help on a few things because I don't have enough in my Rolodex yet. Okay, so I'm going to have to use reference probably more than you will. No, definitely more than you will.
A little bit there. There's Russ.
Look at that. Mm-hmm. That's masterful work. I mean, look at that. That is
riding horses in the night. Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Can't wait to see that.
Russ, I mean, you're among one of the best artists on the planet. Okay.
Shut up, Russ.
So I mean, it's yes.
It's so good, man.
I wish I could do what you do. Unfortunately, I do need some help in order to. That would take me probably 4 days to accomplish that. To accomplish that with all those lines. Traditionally, I couldn't do that. I could do it in a day, digitally.
You can feel that horse walking almost.
They're just tough. They are.
Yeah.
Horses are extremely difficult.
So hard.
Yeah.
And it looks perfect.
Like with the miniatures game I was working on I've been working on for a number of years, doing like Jousting Knights as a major theme of the thing, and I spent a good couple of years studying horses just to get, and it's a bastard every single time.
The last time I animated a horse was 18 months ago, and I remember soundly exactly when was the last time I animated a horse. It's just a nightmare. And the thing is, like, they're so graceful because they run opposite to any other creature. Like, they land the back legs before the front legs. Mm-hmm. And that makes all the difference in the dynamics of animating a horse. So they're not only difficult to draw, they're difficult to animate too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm going to be doing a traditional art double pager that will be for sale on the that we will be putting up on the campaign once it's done. I'm not looking forward to it. I am and I'm not. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be really fun to draw. So I get this weird anxiety. I don't know if any of you do this, but after you spent so long on a piece,
anxiety. No.
I'm always worried that I'm gonna like mess it up at the end. Like I'm gonna spill some ink on it. I'm gonna drop coffee on it. I'm going to sneeze and, hit a line wrong, and I'm going to ruin the whole thing.
You're just talking about texture now.
Yeah. I'm always worried that I'm just going to destroy the whole thing. And this goes all the way back to my competition days, because I've won a lot of awards for art back in high school, which, that made me think that I was better than what I am, because, when you're better than a high schooler, that's one thing.
Yeah.
It's like, that basketball player. Well, I'm the best player on my high school team. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're the worst player on your college team.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's like saying I'm the smartest kid on the short bus. It's like, you don't understand. Like, that's, what is that bus for, buddy? It's
it's for people like you.
It's for people like me.
I would say this here. Let me just tell you this from somebody who's hired a lot of people, worked with a lot of people. I would rather have someone with passion and is busting his butt than a somebody who it just rolls off their fingers like it was nothing and doesn't understand how to take direction.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what we call. Okay, this is not nice, but that's what we call king shit syndrome. You can't have that in an animation studio. Like somebody who thinks he's all that, because it's gonna be detrimental to the whole production. Like he's perfect, and everybody is beneath him.
Yeah.
And normally he's not the boss, so it's just no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a lot of really cool things coming up on Fund My Comic. One of those things we're gonna be talking about here is Mr. Celestry's comic book offering, which a guy who comes from a lot of animation for kids, one of my inspired much of this stuff that has caused me to be into comic books and art to this day, is not for children.
No.
Falls in the same line as something like AR-13L would fit into there, and Tibby, which is doing really well. Oh, by the way, next week we're gonna have Coop on the show.
Nice.
He's gonna be talking about his community service book, and we got a lot of really cool things over on Fun My Comic. I don't know if you guys have checked this. Shelby Robertson has his sketchbook up on here. Already made $540. Hasn't been up there long. 55 days to go. Riot Press's Zorro and the Phantom Cult of Hollywood Hills is the one. His 24-page book is the one right now under fire from Zorro Productions. We've passed that on to them. Said, look, you're gonna have to take that up with Riot Press. That's not they're not breaking our toss, so we're not gonna pull them down. Optical Illusion Studios has a fun book that's up there. We are now in the phase where we will throw a book that we think should get your attention but hasn't yet up into this mix so that people can see it. So if they may not have gotten any tips yet, so we try to point you in the right direction in some cases.
Oh man,
something that blue and pink would never do for you.
Yeah, something that green and pink or
green
blue.
and pink.
Yeah, green, blue, or pink.
Sorry, green.
That would never do for you.
Yeah, who's blue?
I have
Blue,
no idea.
Crowdfunder.
They're all.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, I made a mistake there, but yeah.
None of them.
Are they still around?
I don't know. I think so. I mean, where would they go?
Funder?
Yeah,
Crowdfunder?
yeah. Narwhal is
nice.
is has a book up here.
Narwhal.
His Second Chance. That's really great.
Earthbound. Nice.
When does that launch? It launches on. It's campaign approved. It's not started yet. It starts July 16th.
Okay.
So
3 days from now.
3 days from now, you'll be able to get his book.
Yeah.
And see what else is down there in that new one.
Shut up, bro.
Type 1 exclusive cover from Mark Polton is going live on July 15th. Optical Illusion is live now. Tantalizing Adventures by Paul Monsky is currently live.
Yeah, I didn't know Shelby had a book out.
Yeah, it's really cool that he jumped over here. Now I see what they were saying, that it drops you down there. That's the first time that's done that to me. It must be in the new update. My bad. Immortalis, number 1 through number 6 is up now. Listen, that one actually looks pretty good.
And there we go.
This book right here is the one we're talking about today. Bloodwing, Fire, Fist, Angel. I kept wanting to say first, so I was like, nope. Do not say that wrong. By the great John Celestry, is launching on August 13th and will run through September 3rd.
Yeah.
Let's watch your trailer.
It's a long one.
It is a long one. And what we might do, I might turn the volume down so that we can, if we have a question, we can chat over it, okay?
Yeah.
So in this trailer, you are... Oh, do we have volume? Do you hear it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to do this.
words not all speak at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like when the books come out. You just look at the art and
Yeah, dude, I'm taking this in, man.
Yeah. So this is your trailer here is actually basically a reading of the book, right?
Yep.
Yeah. This is an interesting way. Like, hey, here's what it is. Here's the story.
Yeah,
Here's what you got.
I've been doing this here. I've got 3 episodes up, and just reading it through. I haven't done the 4th one yet. I've got it in certain things. So far on the up on the various chapters, of this here. But it's all to get this first book up. But we'll see. We'll just carry on with it. But I just, I thought this would be an interesting way.
Is that you, John? That looks like you.
I'm doing all the bad voices.
No, is that character you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that looks like you.
Yeah.
That's a self-insert.
That's a classy mustache you got there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it.
And basically, this is the store my parents had. The L&L gift shop was an actual religious gift shop in Brooklyn. And so I took that as part of the story.
Religious? What kind of religion
Catholic.
Stuff?
Catholic
stuff.
It was a Catholic gift shop. Chalices, ciboriums, priest vestments,
Nice.
credit,
okay.
cards, then also crystal bowls and whatnot, and as I said, chalices, gold chains, everything. It was a Catholic, shop.
So anything that someone in the church would need, you would have.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
We were across the street from the mobster shop, a mobster hangout, the 1717 Club, and that plays part of this book. Of the series
interesting.
Also.
So you're drawing a lot from your younger years.
Yes. Yeah.
What was the inspiration for this story of a angel, which, as we said earlier, really truly transgender, both parts.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of censoring that had to go on in this video.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You'll see the censorship now as we hit into this part now.
Yeah. There's the bum. Bum. We had to send this back to you because
gluteus maximus.
Yeah, we had to send this back to you because
derriere.
Yeah, we had to send it back to you because you
then tush.
We missed the tush at the end.
And then naughty and ding dong.
Yep. Yeah. So the guy that did, I like that you drew Boba Fett in with your actual picture.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And so what was the inspiration here for this?
Well, basically, it was the worst. I originally wrote this as a novella that I self-published on Amazon, but this is back like 10 years ago, and it was like a scream on my part because I hit the lowest point in my life. And I just said, why? I'm saying to myself, I followed all the rules, did everything right, and yet I'm in the worst hole imaginable. I'm talking about because of a business thing where the guy, the partnership, he wound up being in prison for wire fraud, but it caused me a personal bankruptcy.
Randy, I know what it's like to go into a business transaction with somebody that rips you off. And it can,
fraudulent. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in federal prison for 10 years.
And it could really ruin you.
Yeah.
And especially, here you are, you've got this, you've got good pedigree. You come from this long line of successful properties that you've worked on. And I'm sure the fact when animation changed and all of those old skills became, let's be honest, obsolete.
Yeah. That happened in 2001. So it's been 20 some odd years since the last time professionally I was really doing stuff. So I had to do, I scraped together all kinds of stuff, and I was trying to, that was the whole idea. From 2006 to about 2011, we were trying to build this thing, and it was starting, and then he did really some shady stuff that caused the federal government to come down on him, and so anyway, so with that, that's why I said, okay, I wrote this thing about the youngest angel, and that was me. It's like I'm just innocent about this, but I'm being screwed around between Satan and God, and they're playing with me, and that's how I wrote this thing.
Yeah, I see this. So you've drawn a traditional cherubim here.
Yeah.
What would actually be biblically accurate, somewhat.
Yeah.
And you've got like the hand of God.
Yeah.
Michael, obey.
Yeah.
You've got Satan trying to tempt and do his thing, which, we know, if you have any kind of biblical background, that happened. That's what 1/3 of the angels were tempted to kind of pick sides. And so
there's an agreement between Creatus and Shadow, and they say, okay, this here is Michael is going to be our pawn. We're playing, so they're agreeing with each other.
So I mean, and we've seen that. So this is kind of like the book of Job.
Yep.
Where Job's a faithful man, and the Satan comes up, and I say the Satan because Satan is not a name; it's a title.
Yeah.
So and it actually says the Satan.
Yeah.
So it's referring to maybe not Lucifer, but whoever was most likely Lucifer, who was the deceiver, that one that was doing it, comes up and says, "Hey, he wouldn't serve you if you didn't bless him."
Right.
And so God says, "Well, then go ahead and test him."
Yeah.
And Job feels like a pawn in that. He feels like one point he questions God. He's like, and he curses the day he was born. And how relatable of a story is that for all of us?
Yeah.
That's
what that's how I started with it, and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. Originally, this was done as a web comic, but there was nothing. So here you go. It's obey my rules, play the game. And no, and basic. So this is where I say, okay, as I described, as if somebody said, what is this comic like? Well, it's Barbarella meets Popeye.
Nice.
Okay.
We've got all of the and there you go. I mean, the only finger, that's their flaming finger, flaming fist. Michael has basic angelic powers, but not all of them. It can't do as much as a could, so it's a semi-mortal, and the whole idea of that in this book you wind up saying is that, okay, the physicality, the weakness is that in using up the powers, it was burned up the calories. So therefore, Michael is constantly hungry and is always looking for something to eat. Because when you flame on like that, you're burning stuff up. And same thing with the wings. When flying is exhausting. So all of that is an element of necessity, so this is all my animation stuff coming into play.
I see it.
Excuse me a second. I've got a time. Can I just stop here? I gotta get somebody.
Do it.
Yeah.
You can definitely see the animation style.
Yeah, the posing, man.
Here.
Look at the silhouette, dude.
Yeah, it's
perfectly poised for the lashing.
Yep. I like the weight, how he weights the panels. Mm-hmm. I've said this to Whiskey the other day. He was asking about a panel that he was doing, laying out. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, you need to weight it one way or the other. You have the weight off or whatever. And I think people don't understand that. Like, as you see, small character, large character in this cut.
Yeah.
it pulls the weight down. So you're following the big to the little, and then your eye automatically follows. So you guys can see my cursor, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you've got here the eye naturally, because of our Western upbringing,
Yeah, and it's a
naturally
bigger
brings
shape.
you over.
Yeah.
The bigger shape to the smaller shape falls down, but then then it drops you here, and it pulls you down in this direction with
Yeah.
the action.
But you
which
see,
is
like,
great
there's another
sequential telling.
thing. There's another thing there, Luke. See the position of the finger on the first panel,
Up.
and
Yep.
how it's defined with the curve, with the action curve,
Yep.
as he lashes down. Like
Yep.
this is all like
See,
animation posing.
That weight, yeah.
At its finest.
This is the anticipation.
Yeah.
This is the action.
And there's the reaction.
And this is the reaction right here.
This is awesome.
Done in
man.
3 panels.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Looks great. Now, I think some people might be confused because you have a very animated cartoon style, but this is a very mature book.
Yes.
Very mature themes, got naughty bits in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe, I think that could be kind of confusing because when you see your style, it's very much like the old style of animation that you would see in kids' cartoons.
Well, but also it's cartoony. I mean, if you go back to the '60s underground comics, basically this is it. I mean, if you're talking about Art Crumb, you're looking at the
Wait, did you say Art Crumb?
Freak Brothers.
Yes, Art Crumb.
Anything like that. It's cartoon stuff. But and also go back to the Fleischer stuff. Fleischer, Betty Boop, that was very strange. 1930s. You're talking about gritty stuff that's cartoony.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just because it's cartoony doesn't mean it's for kids.
Yeah.
It is an art form. It is not it's a way of handling material, in a way that makes it easy to look at. I'm not trying to be photorealistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that it's I like it when artists and storytellers tell their story in the way they would do it. Like I love Randy's Spank the Monkey.
Yeah.
Because it's Randy's style, but it's Randy's voice. It feels like him. This very much feels like John Celestri. It's your voice. It's your thought. It's your storytelling. It is. This is underground comic books, and I feel like it's kind of the ideal form of that.
Yeah.
And I'm very, So this book is a digest size. It's not comic book size.
Yeah.
For our younger readers, explain what digest size is.
Digest size is it's 8.5 by 5.5. And I did it in a digest size. It's small. It's a smaller, pardon?
It's smaller format.
Yeah, it's small in format. I did it as that way, and as a black and white. It's 64 pages long. So the idea is so that it would be cheaper to print. But it'd be a quality piece, though. It's just the same size, almost as. In fact, it's bigger size than what you would see an Archie Digest.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's bigger than a trade paperback. Oh, okay. I don't understand this character, Bloodwing. It looks female, but it's male. It is both male and female.
Yeah.
And that's because the angel is both. It didn't choose. When it became in a birthing situation, you'll see that it's basically is birthed into the ground, from slammed to the ground. It has to get out of there. There's a whole story as part of that episode, that you'll see. But anyway, it is about it gives me an ability to deal with a character that has to face both male and female problems and things to deal and emotional thought processes and everything. It's something for both sides of the coin. I'm not saying this is just a male thing or just a female thing. It is both.
It is more biblically accurate, what you would expect.
Yeah.
But again, it's just an aspect of that character. It's not the core
The
aspect
entire
of the
of the
character.
story, yeah.
Which, in some cases, some people might lean in that, hey, I've got a transgender angel, do, and that's how they would sell it. It's okay if the character is transgender, or in your case, not even transgender. It's
No, it's not. See, that's the thing. It is not a transgender. It is not going every. It is.
It's truly
how
non-binary.
it was created.
Yeah, it's dual. It's both. It's bi-binary. How would you? I don't even know how you would.
It's a
say
hermaphrodite, right?
Yeah, but it's a very interesting kind of take. But it's not the. Does that ever come into play in the storytelling with us, or is this strictly just the struggles that this character goes through, feeling like a pawn between good and evil?
Well, as part of the pawn between good and evil, how Michael interacts with romantic feelings with a male, and then romantic feelings with a female. But it has got nothing to do with. It is about a person interacting in a world where the rules have been changed. Because when in that scene there's a snap where the universe is ripped apart momentarily and then restitched back together, but it's not the same rule. It's not the same universe anymore.
Because something's been changed.
Everything rules have been changed. Michael has to deal with. Well, I was supposed to be saved by the creators because I followed all the rules, but here you are screwing me around, and so therefore you broke the promise to me. So therefore the universe is ripped apart and it's changed, and everything is now different than what it was. And so now Michael has to deal with how to work with to find out what is true, what is true, now what is truth, what is right, what is wrong. Michael's whole sense of morality has to come into play and come to understanding.
It's basically the human struggle.
Yes.
When you start to get to a certain point, when you start to get to a certain point in your life, you have to say, well, are the things that I grew up believing, are they truth?
Yeah.
It's what I told my kids. You have to choose faith for yourself. You can't. My faith is not going to get you into heaven, and vice versa. You've got to choose, and you've got to decide what you're going to do. You've got to decide what you're going to do with the life that you've been given. I can train you as best I can, which is why I'm so adamant that these outside forces need to leave kids alone and allow parents to bring the things in that they want their kids to be exposed to, because it's up to the parent. They're the ones that have, in my opinion, by God, but in natural law, naturally been given the responsibility to take care of these young humans, these new humans that are going to go out into the world and make an impact in some way, whether it be positive or negative. And it's up to the parents to do that. But at some point, we all hit that part in our life when we have to stop, when it's no longer what mom and dad or what the church or what school or whatever I learned. It's now, let me take the experience that is in front of me and compare it to what I think I know and determine if this is truth or not.
Yeah.
And
that's why I like the word offspring, because they spring from you, but they're not you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So all you can do is guide.
Yeah.
And show, but the decision is theirs in the end.
This is a very interesting concept. I think that maybe you've struggled to get notice in this for a couple of reasons. Number one, the other sites, Pink and Green, are very saturated. They don't do much to try to help promote smaller creators or smaller projects. But the other thing is, I think that there is a confusion on, well, what is this? Because right now we're so inundated with political ideology and those kind of things that when someone sees a character that is adult, with the parts being shown that are male and female, they're automatically going to think, well, is this some kind of leftist propaganda or something like that? They're not going to think that this is just part of the storytelling process. This is part of the character development. in a natural and organic way. And then when they see the art style, it's like, oh, well, this is geared towards kids. So it's somebody else trying to target our kids with more ideology. That is not the case here at all. This is classic underground art, what you would have seen in the back rooms of the comic shops if they even carried them. This is
It's a head shop book.
Yeah, it's a head shop book.
Yeah, dude. Like even Valerian, which is not really like a story for kids, like it has a very cartoony flavor to the art style. So
now I think I know your political affiliation, but it doesn't matter to me, and I don't think it should matter to the fans or any of the viewers. So we're not going to talk about that. But I do want to ask, especially for them, is there political ideology in the book at all?
No,
I didn't think so, because we've talked.
There's nothing. It is about fear and conquering fear and writing and dealing with what's right and wrong. And here's the aspect. I'm too old to worry about the fact that I don't fit in.
Wow. Yep.
Very cool.
You know, I mean, this is my third act. There are 3 acts to a play. I'm in my third act.
Right.
I'll be 74 this year, in October. So if and my hands are arthritic, but I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. Whether there are bean counters who say, oh, you're not making any money with this. I'm looking for an audience. I'm looking for an underground audience. I'm not looking for a mainstream audience. And those are the platforms. I'm hoping that this campaign, this platform will attract people who are looking for something different and thoughtfulness.
Storytelling, primarily. Creative freedom of expression.
Yeah.
You're only looking for $500 as launches in August.
Yeah.
I think that you'll be able to get that. I think that you will. Look, you've been telling other people's stories for a very long time.
Yeah.
When I was pastoring, I sat down with someone that was your age. And they said, Pastor, I have fewer years ahead of me than I have behind me. Mm-hmm. The majority of my years are past me now. And they were kind of where they said what you said. I'm in my third act. And they said, I want to do what I want to do. I want to make an impact, to connect with people based on what's in here, pound on their chest, like what's in here. And I think the sooner that we can get there, I think the happier we'll be. Look, Randy and I, we almost died. We're on borrowed time. And I don't say borrowed time, extra time. Mm-hmm. We were given extra innings.
Yeah.
And you don't want to waste those. I don't believe in wasting second chances. And if you never get a second chance, you've only got the first chance. Don't waste it either. People waste so much of it. I think the sooner that you can get into that aspect of let me create what I want to, and let me do what I want to. Let me tell my story. The happier you'll be. And Rabbit and Bunny thinks that you look pretty darn good for 74.
Oh, thank you.
And you do. Fire Fist Angel comes out August 13th.
Yep.
Launches at 6:30 p.m.
a month from
Eastern time. A month from now. And you have a sign up right now where you can get notified. And I'm going to share that. I'm going to grab that link, copy that, and I'm going to put it over here in the comments so that you guys can find it. And with that, we are over 3 hours of this show. And we're going to start calling this thing a day.
Yep.
I do want to thank everybody that helped me out with hybrids. Let me show you where we ended up with that.
Yeah.
Hybrids ended up at $3,332.60. Thank you so much for that. The majority of that was honestly raised at the end of this thing a couple weeks ago when I changed strategies. Thank you so much for that. We have, let me see how many books, and this does not count the other campaign either. We have 4. What is that? 20. We have 20 plus I think another. So yeah, we have about 25. We have about 30, 35, 40 copies going out to people's homes. We will have the trade paperback physical up here later. We'll open this back up. The games are going away, but thank you guys for doing that. Also, want to thank you guys for supporting the Fool.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That finished out pretty good as well. 130% funded, $650.
Very
27 backers got that. We would like to see even more people come back and pick that up because it is now in continuous mode. You can still back that. The books are shipped. They're on their way. Okay. So I will be doing fulfillment for this next week.
Dang,
all right.
baby.
So if you would like to go in right now and purchase, the only thing I'm not shipping out is the art stuff that Randy's doing.
Yep.
He's got one to do that, but I'll ship the books for him.
Yep. I got one done, 2 to go.
Yep. And so right now, Bundle 2 will not ship until October.
Chrome Dog.
October, because we're finishing Chrome Dog.
Yep.
I expect that next week I'll be doing more on that. I have to catch up on one of my projects. It's kind of crazy around here with all the stuff we're doing. Mm-hmm. But you can actually, for $5 plus shipping, you can go and pick up a physical copy today if you want to. And then I have the print file. I'm going to make sure I'm getting a digital version ready. We're going to be sending out digitals today or tomorrow, so everyone can get that. So you can still get over there and pick up that book. But thank you for supporting that. Again, another great character-driven book with story at the core of this thing. One of the things you're going to notice about Fund My Comic is it is underground for underground. This is what we do. This is, I believe, the new mainstream. Mm-hmm. I believe that it is the renaissance of comics right now within the independent movements. You're going to get some great stuff here, and just fun books. This one is new and looks great.
Oh, look at that!
This looks so. Okay, I'm just going to play the trailer. I know we're over, but check this out.
Beast Citizen.
I like the lettering.
Citizen. Turn up the volume.
It's up.
It is. Okay. Beast Warrior. Blam.
This is a little bit of work, though.
It just looks fun to me.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
So who's done this?
No, it's just the shadows there.
This is Felsbug does the art.
Bug?
And Lidl did the colors.
Road Warrior Drake.
Nice.
Road Warrior Drake.
It's like as soon as the art comes out, everybody's silent.
Yeah. Cool. Looks good.
Oh, it's just like a minute of that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keeping that up there for you. This is done by Alberto Martinez. And it's the second chapter of an ongoing saga. He's had 16 people back it already. This is he only needs not much more. $600, less than. It's, 530 bucks gets him there. And $10 digital. It's this looks cool. Again, more of that kind of underground. And then we've obviously we got books that are more polished. Yeah. That you're going to see like Bronze Star, still live over here. Pat Broderick, probably the best work of his career.
I can say that from what I've seen, it's the very best of his career. It's truly a labor of love.
Yeah, I mean, just look.
This book is deserves
again,
all the support it can get.
I keep going in here.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the detail in that gore. just amazing. And here, I've got to show this off too. This one always amazes me.
All right, the background.
Look at the background in the window. He drew the building back here and the porch.
Yeah.
And I mean, just.
And the thing is, like, he drew it, but there's like atmospheric perspective because the lines are not like finished. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like an attention to detail that borderlines insanity.
This
Love
is clearly his best work ever.
You could see a reflection in the belt buckle of the opposite window's scenery.
Yeah.
Right there. Who does that? My gosh. Just some amazing work. I am. It is so humbling and quite amazing to be a part of a platform where people can produce such amazing work. And it all looks great. There's so many really good things in here. Ren really should have more eyes on it too, I believe. Purple chick with guns.
Yeah,
looks great.
Purple chick with guns.
There's nothing to hate about this.
No, I
hate about it.
Nothing at all. But yeah, definitely look through that. We're going to start adding additional categories where comics will be broken down into age groups and or genres. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can add that it's a comic for all ages, it's a comic for mature audiences, and that way people can start to sort out their stuff. We're going to do the same with graphic novels, manga, books, magazines. We're just going to keep general. TTRPGs, we're going to probably break it down into fantasy and superhero and sci-fi and things like that.
Okay.
Board games will keep general. Video games we may start adding some stuff too, but most of that will stay general. Video games, we're going to put ratings on the video games for people. So you'll be able to subcategorize those things. There is a new feature that's coming out. This is going to be really cool. I'm very excited about this. The next day or two, let's use Little Mermaid as the.
We might need to talk about that video game thing.
We should.
Because I do have a video game chamber. Like, all the animation is done. I only need the programming.
Okay.
So
let's work on it. Let's get it going.
Let me make some calls.
Yeah. So right here, we have this cool thing that you can do. So let's go down here and pick good old Eric Hodson's book. You choose this thing. You go here. The new feature is going to allow you to choose multiples of this. So let's say you want to pick up 2 copies of this book.
Yeah.
Not just 1. You can choose 2 here. Up to 5. We're capping it at 5. The reason why we did that is we took some feedback from some campaign managers. They said, well, what if one person goes in and just like makes this big order, takes all of the ones that are available on something, and then backs out, because some people do that. And I'm like, that's a good point. So we tapped it at 5.
I will be right back.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a new feature coming in.
Dude, I'm loving this one.
So earlier we were talking about digital and meeting your new stuff, meeting the old
guys. Sorry, I've got to get going.
That's all right, John.
It's all right, John.
Thank you very much. I'll see you guys. I'll talk to you later, Luke.
Thank you. Thanks for being on here. Appreciate it.
We've
gone a lot longer than we normally do. So,
but I'll touch base with you a little later on. Just got a couple of questions, okay?
All right, sounds great.
Take care, everybody.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Look at the polish of Eric's work here, man. This is just, he's gotten so much better.
Yeah, Eric is another beast, man.
He just keeps getting better and better and better.
So
look
earlier,
at that, man. That's amazing.
We were talking about digital meeting, traditional stuff. And one of the things I like about, Fund My Comic in particular and these crowdfunding sites is that, sometimes you want to support all these artists and you just don't have the funds to do that. But a lot of these guys, and you can support them right now. They have digital versions of their books, and you can just there's no printing cost there. It's just they paid for the creation of the art, or however they did it, or they drew it themselves, and the story editing. But it's a little bit cheaper, so you can easily and quickly on a much cheaper discount as to the physical book. You can go ahead and support that, and then download something, and you're still supporting artists, and you don't always necessarily need the physical book, as nice as it is.
Right. Yeah. And the other cool thing about the digital is I always love it when I sell a digital, to be honest with you. I actually make more money on a $10 digital than I do a $25 graphic novel. It's nice to sell the physicals. It really is. But quite honestly, depending on my print run, I can make anywhere from $5 to $10 on that book, depending on my print run. I'm always going to make $10 on the digital. I'm always going to make digital is pure profit to me, because that goes right back into my production cost. And it means that I've got an extra reader that otherwise wouldn't have gotten out there. We've talked about this before, and we talked about it earlier in the show about we're not chasing an audience. We're making our stuff more accessible. And that is part of it. I think right now with shipping, I think right now with people's money's rough. Of course, sex workers, their business is starting to pick back up, and that's usually a indicator of how the economy's doing. So the economy is starting to turn around a little bit in some places, but that's still down. That's still, they're still not making the money they used to. So when you take that in consideration, people aren't spending money on entertainment right now as much as they used to, and they still need it. Digital just helps you. It helps everyone, I think. And I think to ignore digital is to ignore part of your audience and potential audience.
It's I would also say it's great for collectors as well, because some people, they'll pick up a book and they'll just put it away on a wall and they'll never read it. But with the digital option, you get a cheaper option where you can get the collector version, right, for yourself, and the digital version. You can read it, and you're not putting your fingers on the pages and smudging them, or it stays in the acid-free bag, and you're good to go.
Yep.
Right? Stays in the case, whatever.
Thanks. Glad you like the show. Yeah, every time I say I almost died, you take a drink. That's the game here.
Oh, is it?
Howard the Duck
more
meets
often
Rainbow.
then.
Yeah. We can't hear a thing over here. Just sounds out for us.
I don't know about that.
Oh, you guys couldn't hear anything?
The trailer. Yeah, but the trailer.
Oh, I turned up the volume. Could you hear it?
Yeah, but I think that trailer was like Devada music or something. It was very quiet.
It wasn't real loud.
Here. Yeah,
it wasn't real loud. Thank you, Insane. And just love this great stream. Love seeing more work out there. Yeah, it's really, really good. Great to see so many new books filling up the page. Seems like not so long ago you had 5 titles on there. It wasn't that long ago. It was 4 months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Things are going well, man. I can't explain to you how happy.
Yeah.
It is a snowball running down the hill right now.
Yeah, like
so it's just going to keep gathering momentum.
Yeah, we're almost to 5 months now.
Yeah.
And
feels like a year now.
we are running some crazy traffic through the site right now. Let me see, what was our latest number on campaigns? We have 200 and 1 second, I gotta log back in. 201 campaigns with 68 of them currently running. One more that got sent for review today. We're getting 2 to 3 campaigns, sometimes 4 or 5 sent a day for review, which is great. So we have 2 of them right now that are in process of, they've been reviewed and they have some changes to make. And so yeah, we're growing. Right now the website has as far as what's been captured, campaigns have sought out $19,853, and we've captured $133,916. Right now, funding raised total, okay? Our funding raised. Mm-hmm. Get this, guys, because that captured doesn't count continuous campaigns or the ones that are still active. We have raised through the website $195,408.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
In 5 months.
and it's just exponentially going to grow from here.
It really is.
It really is. Yeah.
I'm humbled and I'm just happy to be a part of it. Happy to have this service out there for people. And so we're doing what we can.
Yeah, dude, you got a couple of five-figure campaigns in Fund My Comic now. So it's
we do. We're looking for a six-figure campaign.
Yeah.
Now at this point, we're looking for one of those. Did you say sex workers were going down? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I know I've got to play it now. Right. It's the truth.
I mean, as long as if you come down here, that's very safe.
Yeah.
That line of
That
work.
is not a joke. That is a natural fact.
Yep.
No, both the trailers you've shown were muted. Really?
Okay.
Just
We
heard
just
you.
heard you guys did fine
commentary. Okay. Well, that's because I did it different this week. I'm not using the same browser. If you hating, you ain't creating.
Yep.
FMC for the win.
That's
Thank you guys.
cultural
Welcome to 24
appropriation.
Eyes. But let's get out of here, man. It's been long. I got work to do. You got work to do. Randy's got a book he needs to promote.
That's a 3G book.
Alice in
Right there.
Chains.
Alice in
Another
Chains is
Arrow
coming.
Comics 3G. Arrow Comics. We're taking over the world.
Yeah.
Guys, you got to check this out. Arrowcomics.store.
Little
We're
bit
going
of
to have more
superhero,
books
little
up
bit
there.
of horror, a lot of fun.
A little bit of everything. We are getting ready to start launching on Amazon, so you'll be able to get our books through Amazon very shortly.
Yep.
Guys, I'm telling you, you can't be sleeping on Arrow Comics right now.
Yeah.
We're growing them. By the way, I got to get you the barcode, and we're doing the old style. We got to do barcodes like the real publishers.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, real publisher. Yeah,
We're doing it like the real publishers now, man.
Yeah.
It's big time. And
Yeah.
I love it, man. It's so exciting. Comic books is
Just
great.
start.
Remember, guys, there's too many people out there tearing things down. Hopefully you've come here to hear us talk about the news, hear us build some things up, and hopefully you've found some education today in the 3.5 hours that we've been at this thing, that you've learned a little bit and your life has been enriched. We certainly know that ours have. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate you very much. Build up more than you tear down. Leave that wood pile higher than you found it. It's very, very easy to make someone's life easier today. Just be kind to them. Just do a little something that they don't expect. You know, everyone expects you to respond negatively, right?
Yeah.
They
And if the
expect you-
women don't find you handsome, they at least should find you handy.
Yeah. And guys, on
Amen.
that note, if
You
you
know
need
what
your
we're saying.
trailers done, call me up. I need to fix my car.
All right, yeah. Hire Pedro.
Yeah.
Hire Pedro.
Pedro, you might think about...
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
Yeah, I might open commissions for smut.
and as our good friend says,
comics are awesome.
Yeah.
comics are awesome. Thank you guys for being here. And don't forget, Randy, you want to say it?
Let's be careful out there. See ya.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. 2 Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see a 211, half a dozen 459, 2 W's a GTA, and several miscellaneous crimes. Homicide.